You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-40...
lose to the Hornets. They will now take on the Magic tonight. Second game of back-to-back, which, if you didn't know, they've never won a game in this situation this season. We will talk to Wendell Epps at 12 p.m. He does a lot of great work for the Orlando Magic, an announcer out there in Orlando at 12:30. We will have the Kings Roundtable with our Kings insiders, Brendan Nunez and Frankie Cardicelli. So we're going to try to power through. We're going to try to power through the best way we can. You know, Chris, I put out a little video before the show, and I went through a lot of different emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So last night, maybe it was just a coincidence because obviously baby girl is already sleeping during the game. But she wouldn't stay asleep. It was a lot of rustling, and then she got up again at 2 a.m. in the morning.
That sounds great.
Refused to go to sleep. Fed her again, changed her again. It's 3 a.m. and ends up going down at around 315. She'd never done that before.
Yeah.
And I can't
She was
help.
expecting a beam. That's what it was.
I can't help but blame the Kings for that.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me.
Because that pathetic performance.
Yeah. Even she knows.
Stunk up. It wasn't her dirty diapers. It was the Kings' performance keeping her up all night.
Yeah. She's like, it's trash here.
It was so trash. It was so trash. This is how y'all get down?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody, this isn't a blame pot. This is a blame arena. Just an arena full of blame.
Yeah.
Everybody but the fans gets blamed. Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. And instead of, I guess, there's so many ways to do this. We can sit here and we can be upset, and we'll go through some of the X's and O's about what actually went down, even though they shouldn't have been in this situation. So we have plenty of audio from Malik Monk and Mike Brown and their exchange, De'Aaron Fox, how he reacts to things like this. So we'll talk about all that, but from a big picture perspective, I think last night just made it so that we can no longer kid ourselves into thinking that this team and this roster can win a championship. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like I know where you're from there, because I don't know if that's the exact feeling I get, but I think it's a similar, where it clearly is saying that there's something fundamentally wrong about the team. Like, you shouldn't have the ups and downs that have gone on throughout this season. And I think the fact that you lose games to Portland and then the Hornets in like a week span,
that's the problem.
That's bad. Like, that's not something that good teams do. They are like great teams. I should say great teams do. And I think the Kings are a good team.
They kind of should have lost to the Hawks.
And they should. That's a great point, right? They should have lost to the Hawks 100%. And like, I mean, yeah, it takes a heroic second half performance, and I mean, and it's even more frustrating and honestly more on brand, on character, that they played their best game of the freaking season on New Year's Eve. Mm-hmm. And like, it looks like, okay, you go through the Portland game. Like you said, you almost lose the Atlanta game, but you do get the result. You end up getting the win. And then you have your best win of the season heading into the new year. It feels like everything's starting to trend towards the right direction. Okay, again, you have some easy opponents coming in front of you. And then they just blow it on last night, and it's two steps forward to go one step back. It's whatever you want to say. It's just incredibly frustrating that it just feels like you can't trust this team, really. It just feels like right when you think this team's turning a corner, right when you feel like, all right, things are starting to figure each other out. Okay, they just made a lineup change. Okay, that looks good. And I think Duarte looked good yesterday. I wouldn't put any blame on the result from yesterday of the lineup changes. I wouldn't. It's just it's garbage. And yeah, you're not going to your point, you're not going to be able to have sustained success in the playoffs if you aren't consistent and you can't be trusted. Like, it also makes me think, not that last night was a must-win game, but I mean, it just, this team does have, and I talked about it on the live stream last night, there's a weird thing with this team where they do kind of lose a lot of games that are, and again, last night's not a gotta have it. I would say tonight is probably more so in the gotta have it territory, but they tend to lose when it feels like they absolutely need to win a game, or they should win a game. It feels like, with the exception of like game 6 last year in the playoffs, pretty much every big game that the Kings have had, it feels like they lose. And again, I'm not calling last night a big game, but it just makes me feel like, okay, last night's a situation where there's no excuses why you should lose. Everything's working in your favor. You're at home against a team that's on an 11-game losing streak and has their best, like 3 of their best players out.
Off a back-to-back. Denver back-to-back.
You're making me feel so much worse. You're making me feel so much worse right now. But it's just inexcusable. Yeah, last night is definitely the worst loss of the season. I know Dave asked us that yesterday during the crosstalk. Absolutely the worst loss of the season and completely inexcusable. I don't know if it's rock bottom, but it's definitely a really big low point.
Well, it's
close to that Houston.
Right. No, and the Houston thing, we
Just
found
in
a way.
terms of
It was
emotion,
early on. There was no De'Aaron.
Yeah.
You could talk
Good
yourself
point,
out of
right?
it.
That's a great point.
You can't talk yourself out of the Blazers.
Yeah.
And you can't talk yourself out of this.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
No.
If you tried to talk yourself out of the Blazers, you could say at least you had to travel to Portland.
Sure.
I'm just saying if you tried. You can't even make
Everybody
that.
has one. you know?
Everybody has one. And then they do it again.
Nuts.
But here's what's crazy to me, because I know somebody is probably typing it in right now. If you want to be a part of the conversation, 916-339-1140 on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. In the SAC chat, I see you guys going crazy already. So shout out to you. Here's the thing. Somebody's going to type in and say, hey, let's take a beat. Let's relax. They're 19-13.
Totally.
My argument isn't that they're not 19-13, because that's what they are. My argument is they're not going to move. My argument is this is who they are. Yeah. This is who they've shown themselves to be. So they are going to stay in that 4 to 6 range, and they better pray to the high heavens and to the basketball gods that none of these teams below, that the Lakers don't get hot, that
or
the Warriors don't get hot or make a trade, that the Suns don't figure it out, because now you're talking play-in. Like I am okay saying this current roster is between the 4 and 6 seed.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. I can't control what the other teams are going to do. And if any of these other teams get hot, you're in the play-in and you're done. Yeah. You're done.
Yeah. I mean, it makes this season definitely, I mean, at the very least, it's not a step forward, right? I mean, I think it's as they're definitely, it would maybe be a step back, but I agree. Like, I think with how the inconsistency that this team has played this year, I definitely think that, you know, they're definitely trending towards that 4 to 6. Like you said, I don't see them unless they make a move. I mean, that's definitely the thing. And I don't think it has to be a major move, but with how they're currently constructed and just how they've played through 30 games now, you can't trust them. And they've been super inconsistent. And at this point, I would say they've been consistently inconsistent. And so, I mean, I think that this is going to be the trend for the rest of the year. If they don't figure it out, is that, there'll be some highs, but there's also going to be some games where they fall flat. And I think last night's an example where there's no excuse for, I mean, I do think also last night should fit into its own bucket. I don't think it was similar, and De'Aaron kind of said it yesterday. I don't really think that yesterday's loss is in the same bucket as some of the other losses they've had this year. Yesterday just kind of felt like a mental lapse. Like it feels like they overlooked their opponent, but I also think that that's just a really immature thing to do from a team. Like that's how you know this Kings team is still in year 2 as well. Like that's just not a game that teams that have been in the playoffs year after year after year, they don't drop that. They don't lose the focus for one night like that, because it's really clear. I mean, the Kings said it all yesterday. Every single person who came up to the podium after the game said it was turnovers, and it wasn't even like they were forcing the turnovers. All unforced, all just sloppy play. And that tells me that, you didn't respect your opponent. You thought you could just walk out there, roll the ball out. They were up. Honestly, the Kings still managed to be up, 90% of that game. And at the end of the day, they let an NBA player get hot in Terry Rozier, and that's what happens. Is anyone is capable of giving you buckets. And I unfortunately yesterday said something really stupid that I wish I could take back. I said, the Kings really don't even need to play defense for 48 minutes. It's just slow down the Hornets for the first half, and there's no way they'll get hot. Well, I mean, they that's why I'm not an NBA coach and I'm sitting right here. Because,
at the time,
Terry Rozier
we didn't know about Terry, though.
That's
at that time,
right.
we did not know.
The injury report was full.
At that time, right? So they rolled the ball out, and then they just let it roll out of bounds multiple times. What I'm picturing, is maybe there was a team building exercise where they all watched the new Hunger Games, just like Dave's kids, and they all ate a big bucket of extra buttered popcorn. Right? And Sabonis was holding it. Sabonis had the most popcorn, and they forgot to wash their hands, and they just had buttered
Century Lots
popcorn.
Right there.
It's right
Century
there.
Theater's right there.
Buttered popcorn hands all game long, so you couldn't hold on to the basketball. You couldn't hold on to the basketball. You can't make your free throws. Right. It's just an absolute mess. But enough from us. You will hear from the guys. You will hear from De'Aaron Fox. You will hear from Mike Brown, who had an exchange with Malik. It was fairly uncomfortable, but that is just scratching the surface on what went down in this game, if you even want to call it that. Just a poor performance from the Kings. They know it. They kicked our behinds. Yeah, all the same things that we've heard. It feels like Groundhog Day. Hearing the same things over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I feel like Marshawn Lynch. If you're just going to go out and lose to teams that you shouldn't over and over and over and over. Nate, we got to get that sound because it's just the same losses over and over and over and over and over again. Just have some pride. And by the way, we'll get into it. I don't want to hear about, Vocalito, this, that. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not a big talker, okay? But they seem to not have a problem with leadership over there, and they're actually a young team.
Yeah.
All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, we will hear from De'Aaron Fox on the loss, also from Mike Brown and his exchange with Malik Monk. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
What's up?
I'm tired of feeling so bloated.
That used to be me. Then I got this.
Align Bloating Relief plus food digestion. A probiotic, right?
Yeah, it works naturally with your gut to help soothe occasional bloating and gas. Plus, it has vitamin B12 to aid digestion by helping convert food to cellular energy. 2 benefits, 1 capsule.
Align Bloating Relief plus food digestion from the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Learn more at Align Probiotics.
Drink? Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your night. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We will have our roundtable, Frankie Cardicelli, Brendan Nunez, at 12:30. That's for an hour. Get your calls, get your questions, your comments, your concerns ready for our guys. We will also talk to Wendell Epps, who works for the Orlando Magic, an announcer for the G League Orlando Magic as well. We will talk to Wendell and just maybe find out how upset the Magic are going to be coming to town. They lost. It was a close-ish game. I was trying to watch both with the Warriors, but the Warriors were on a 3-game skid. So the Warriors are trying to get back
a little juice.
Yeah, on the right side of things. So they were able to handle business against the Orlando Magic. Orlando Magic 5th in the East, very similar record to the Kings. So it should be a good game tonight. No joking there. Hopefully it is a good game tonight. Let's hear from De'Aaron Fox, who had some things to say as far as moving on from last night's loss, and here he is.
I mean, it's funny because I was telling them, like, obviously I don't think we've had one of those bad just stretches of games, but at the end of the day, you soak in a loss like this, and it can pile on to 6 losses in a row. So for me personally, when I walk out this building, I'm not thinking about this game again. So I think it's to each their own on a subject like that. But for me personally, once I walk out of here, I mean, we have another game tomorrow. We're playing against a good Orlando team. So what am I thinking about this game for?
Why don't you soak in something? Soak in a W.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Right? It's when you win, you don't soak that in either.
Thinking, do you feel like that's a little bit of like just kind of talk a little bit?
I don't know that they're panicking in there, but I think they know it's a really bad look. Yeah. And I think they know, I think right now they're probably just living on the fact that they do still have a good record.
Right.
But the problem isn't that they have a good record. The problem is that this is the easiest stretch of games that you have throughout the course of the season. I checked last night. There's no other stretch. You have a couple games here and there where you got the back-to-back with the Hornets and the Pistons, which you can't count the Hornets as an easy game anymore, right?
That better be a 35-point win in Charlotte. I mean, okay, dude, y'all better come out.
I think we're asking too much. I think we're honestly asking too much.
That one should be a 30-point spread.
This is the easiest. This is the easiest stretch. Right. So it's not about the fact that you still have a good record. It's about the fact that you have to look towards the future. Okay. And I don't need De'Aaron to, woe is me and we stunk or whatever. And I don't need you to throw a chair. But I do need you to at least try to identify why this keeps happening.
Sit with it for a little bit.
Right?
Yeah.
Why does it keep happening? If you leave and it just leaves your brain, then it's more likely to happen again. What's that phrase? If you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it.
Yeah.
So if you're just walking out, la-di-da-di-da, okay, we didn't win this one, you're going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. I don't need you to sulk.
Yeah, totally.
I don't need you to drag your feet up there and not want to talk to anybody. But I do want you to try to acknowledge that this can't keep happening.
Yeah.
Or it can.
Yeah.
And you're just never going to get out of the second round, De'Aaron. That's fine. Because we're sitting up here, we got the MVP ladder. I'm gonna do a Draper. I'm gonna take the MVP ladder piece of paper and throw it out the window because they're not letting you in, De'Aaron, already. And they dang sure ain't letting you in if you're losing to the Hornets.
Right.
And Terry Rozier.
Yeah, the MVP ladder this week is definitely going to mention the fact 2 big losses to the Trailblazers and the Hornets. Definitely. I mean, it's you're not wrong. Like, I mean, it's gonna stunt pretty much all the work that, I mean, he just was getting in those MVP ladders too. I mean, we've been talking for weeks about how he keeps being in the 5 other names and all that stuff.
And I'm not saying it's his fault.
No,
don't get me wrong.
Yeah. No, I mean, he had 30 last night. I mean, not that. And then in the Portland game, he had 43.
But you had 30. But you did have a costly turnover at the end of the game. What is
he's
happening?
Not blameless,
And, we're listening to our guy, Mark Jones. Oh, yeah. De'Aaron really takes this seriously, guarding the best player. Well, maybe he shouldn't because Scary Terry is cooking you. Maybe we should reevaluate. And Coach Mike Brown, you want to go ahead and trap every single time, but you didn't want to trap last night? Didn't want to get the ball out of Miles Bridges' hands? Didn't want to get the ball out of Scary Terry's hands? They did it one time. They got cooked. Yeah. That was after they already lost the lead. So I don't know. I am at a loss for words right now.
Over and 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 over.
There's no way.
Over and over and
you're looping that.
No way. He's not looping it.
No, it's super long.
It's the free.
I cut out the breaths. That's
how many times do they miss their free throws? Don't play it again. But you understand.
It's coming again. Just wait.
I
get it. I mean, it's super frustrating. I understand. And I think, I didn't love hearing that from De'Aaron, and I'm not going to rip him for it or anything, but I think that, to me, it was a little bit of a, whatever, on to the next one. We got the next game tomorrow. I don't think there's anything wrong with I think he almost thought there would have been something wrong with saying, this one's going to sting a little bit more. Yeah, we need to kind of sit on this and really think. It's almost like, we talk about acknowledgement being the first step. It's almost like they don't want to acknowledge that there's been some really bad this year. They just want to focus on, no, we're good. We've got 19 wins. Look at the history of this team. We're in a good spot relatively, but I think that's not acknowledging the fact that we're all seeing it's not really so much about the wins. It's more so about the games that you lose are all just really big statements. It feels like, again, the Portland loss paired with this, that's not a good sign. And then all of the big losses to, I don't need to go down the Houston and the New Orleans route and all that stuff.
But you can.
But all of those losses were really, really bad. It's not like they're close losses. We've been talking about it all year. It's the fact that, when they win, it's fine and dandy. But when they lose, it just feels again like there's something structurally wrong. It doesn't feel like, oh, this is just again, last night was a little bit more of the lapse of attention to detail, but it hasn't felt like that. It's felt like there is something that needs to change if this team wants to change its ceiling, because again, over and over and over and over again, it's the same thing every single time they lose. And on a night like last night, it more just really lights a fire, I think, under a fan base that has been kind of stewing some anger for a couple of weeks now. And now it's like, now that the trade deadline's, right around the corner, and OG Anunoby's been moved, and, the first move has already been made, floodgate's going to open soon. It just makes me think, like, and again, Kevin Huerter moving to the bench, how soon is another move going to happen? I think that the Kings are in a spot right now where, after making a lineup change, the next step, in my opinion, if things still aren't working, is, well, we might need to change up the personnel.
Yeah. And, to be completely honest, just going off of what you said, they used the back-to-back as a cop-out.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
sure.
We got to flush it. We got a game. Yeah, but you can still, take this into next game. You're just not going to think about last night
at all.
Right? I guess they're just hoping, if we just eventually keep rolling and keep winning at some point, this stuff will go away, which you just haven't done that. You just have not been able to do that yet. And the separation is happening now. You see what the Thunder are doing. It's little by little.
Yeah.
Instead of you're behind by one game, now you're behind by 2 games, and all of a sudden, we're back 5 games, and okay, so now that's one spot, right? If the Timberwolves keep rolling, okay, well, you can't get the 1 seed. If the Thunder keep rolling, okay, you can't get the 2 seed.
Right.
Now you're okay, well, hopefully we can get 3 or 4. And again, these teams are not going to stay quiet.
No.
You think LeBron at 39 is just going to chill?
No.
It was just his birthday with Draymond out there.
No.
You think he's just going to ride it?
Zach
No.
LaVine will be a Laker in like 3 weeks.
Somebody is going to arrive in LA.
Yes, that's a guarantee.
And speaking of arriving, the Clippers have almost arrived.
Yeah.
So
they've played really well this year. They've been really healthy too.
So if you don't figure, and you can't even beat the Clippers, right? So to me, I'm looking at everything that the Kings have done thus far, and the question is, we can go down the list. We're still going to break down what happened in Charlotte. But to me, it's more of an indictment on the team that we have to have a conversation about the Charlotte Hornets. Right. I don't care what happened last night. I don't care that Sabonis had all these turnovers. I don't care. You shouldn't have been in that situation. Now it's, why did it happen?
Right.
That's where I'm at with this. And what's next? All right. Got to get to a break. Tim, I see you on the line. We will talk to you as soon as we pay some bills. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
A handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
The recent storm has caused dangerous driving conditions for us. The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down. Be alert and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Yeah, that trailer hitch and folding bed cover from TruckSmart makes road trips a breeze.
Right? I'm so much more organized on the job site since TruckSmart installed my truck rack and toolbox.
And they had it all in stock, so I just waited as they installed everything.
Take a look at this sweet Rhino truck lining. They sprayed it on.
Yeah, you win. That is sweet.
Truck Smart, truck and SUV accessories for on the road and the job site. Stop by one of our 2 locations in Rockland or Auburn. Trucksmart.com. Your truck's gonna love them.
There are many things to love about winter. Cozy sweaters, celebrations, and family time. But winter can also bring many stressors, extra expenses, seasonal bugs, and so much family time. If you and your loved ones are feeling stressed or anxious this winter, CalHope can help. Check out our free mental health resource at calhope.org today.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And if you've even thought of replacing your old, outdated, inefficient windows, now is the time to take action.
Right now at Bell Brothers, when you buy one window, you'll get the second one for 30% off. That's right. Buy one, get the second one 30% off.
That's real savings, up to $6,000. You have to buy at least 4 windows to qualify, and you can't mix windows and doors. But beyond that, every second window is 30% off.
For example, when you buy 10 windows, you will get 5 windows at 30% off. We also have 0% interest financing available for qualified buyers. Call for details.
To take advantage of our buy one, get one 30% off sale, call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Over and 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 over.
Live and local. Live and local. This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m., breaking down all things Kings in the most positive way possible, which isn't really possible.
No.
On a day like today, we will be joined by Wendell Epps at 12 p.m., producer for the Orlando Magic Radio, who will get us ready for another game tonight against an upset Magic team who have lost 7 of their last 10, looking to take advantage of a Kings team who aren't in Fracturedville, but might be in the car. And we hope they're not in the car. We're going to get to this Malik Monk and Mike Brown exchange and the sound. We'll break that all down for you. But first, Tim's been hanging on the line. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda
What's up,
Hotline.
guys? How you doing?
What's up? What you got for us?
Oh, man, brutal last night. But let's talk about the real problem right now. Monty's done a great job with this team, but he did not upgrade the roster this season. Sasha's been terrible, and Barnes was a massive, massive mistake to re-sign him, especially for a 3-year deal in his contract. What's your guys' thoughts?
No, that's spot on, Tim. Yeah, Sasha, to be completely honest, on a night like last night, I know they shot 39% from 3, but it didn't feel like it.
Definitely didn't feel
the
like
Kings. And you have a guy in Sasha who can't get off the bench, right? And he had some good minutes, right? So that's the Sasha piece of this. And then also the Harrison Barnes piece. We've gone back and forth so much with Harrison Barnes. But if you do look at it, 3 more years of this is insanity.
Yeah.
3 more years of this is crazy. So when you take a chance and you sign someone with probably the back of your mind thinking we're going to move him at some point, well, that's cool as long as you get to move him and as long as that timing is right. And right now, I don't know what the market is for Harrison Barnes. Obviously, you know he's not going to be by himself. So that's either with picks or that's either with another guy, right? And you go from there. But as far as Sasha is concerned, you know, I think it speaks to a conversation about the rotations and what exactly we've applauded Coach Mike Brown for not sticking to everything and being able to be dynamic with his rotations and his lineups and things like that. But some of it doesn't make any sense to me. And I know Davion Mitchell played well in Atlanta and helped that comeback. So then all of a sudden, and we were talking before the show, well, Alan, if Davion's getting those minutes, Keon can't get them. Well, somebody got to stop Terry Rozier. Somebody, I don't know who, right? And as far as Sasha is concerned, I know they shot 39% from three, and that's really what he does. But that one could maybe more so go on Monty McNair because, hey, you bring this guy in, he's a EuroLeague MVP, and he's riding pine. So you didn't get better.
Yeah.
You just didn't get better at all.
I think it depends on what you view the goal of the offseason was. I don't know if looking at the moves at the end of the offseason, we can confidently say, like, okay, the Kings' first and foremost goal was to improve on the team that was there last year. Because frankly, I mean, pretty much all the moves, the Kings got ridiculed for essentially running it back. And I mean, that definitely isn't going to lead to improvement. I think the biggest spot where they were looking to improve was internally. They were hoping De'Aaron would take a leap that he did make. They were hoping Keegan would take a leap, which, you know, frankly, I think it's been under talked about a little bit how Keegan Murray hasn't really lived up to his side of that development. I mean, Keegan Murray was supposed to be the consistent number 3 guy, and last night, he finished with 12 points and, you know, really didn't make much of an impact on the game. Of course, we've seen Keegan take strides this year, but it hasn't been as a consistent number 3 option. And then the Sabonis signing as well, the Sabonis extension, what you maybe could have done with that $10 million. And I don't know. I mean, I definitely would say, I would agree with the caller that the Monty McNair did not improve this roster over the offseason. I think, you know, Sasha is a guy that they had huge plans for. I mean, the way that they were talking about him was like, we're ready for this guy to be like our 7th option. And he, like you said, he's still riding pine. Chris Duarte was someone who was supposed to come in and replace Terrence Davis and be an upgrade there. I would say at best it's been a push between Duarte and what I think Davis at best, and it's starting to look at best at this moment. Like I would have said worse if you would have asked me a week ago. And then JaVale, like they had Neemias Queta, who's been okay for Boston. They had Nerlens Noel, who we don't know. That was just a complete question mark. And they had Skal Labissière, who's now in G League. And they cut all of them because JaVale became available. And Monty McNair was like, well, JaVale's actually the guy that we would want over all of those guys. And none of those 3 pieces have really made an impact. And if you throw Keegan's development into that, the 4 major pieces that were supposed to be different from last year to this year haven't made any sort of impact really when it comes to the success of this team. And then you could argue whether it's a small setback or not. I think Sabonis has played a little bit worse than he did last year. I think Harrison Barnes has played a little bit worse than he had last year. And I think Kevin Huerter has definitely played worse than he did last year.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it's huge. I would say Malik and De'Aaron definitely have played better than they did last year. But, you know, that's 2 versus 7 guys that I just listed. I think that's really where, you know, the Kings have or Monty McNair, I guess, has kind of failed this team. Is yes, he's put together a good team, but again, they're still really, really flawed.
Well, and that's the thing. You can be that can be who you are, right? I mean, you can be who the Kings are, and if you just want to be up between a 4 to, I'll stick with 6, right? 4 to 6 seed, and hey, we'll just see what happens.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that's what the plan was, because I do think the timeline. Like, I think fans are a little bit more ahead of the timeline than what the Kings feel like they are right now. I think fans feel like the Kings should be ready to take a next step. And just based off of, again, what Monty has done so far this offseason and to this point, feels like the team is a little bit more of we just at this moment want to make sure, like, we're still good. We're still locked into that playoffs. Because last year, let's not forget, like, the Kings were way ahead of schedule last year.
Yeah, but that's what happens, though.
Should that mean that you end up moving forward your time? Like, because you could mess up your time. You could mess everything up because you got too excited about trying to take the next step too early. I mean, you could argue that's what Minnesota did last year. Definitely paid dividends for them this year. But if you just look at last year, Minnesota finally breaks their playoff drought. And then they go and they're like, okay, we're ready to compete. Anthony Edwards, Karl Anthony Towns, let's go out there and get Rudy Gobert. Let's send all of our assets out to go get Rudy Gobert. And then you see what happens last year. Minnesota was 8 seed, I think they
Right.
finished as. Again, this year it's definitely worked out for them, but that could be a situation where, I mean, it just never did work out. So the Kings, again, and that's when we talk about big trades, big moves, you just got to make sure it's the right one.
This is the PR aspect, and here I'm just looking at Kevin Huerter's numbers. His field goal percentage last season, he was 48% field goal.
Wow, that's really good.
42 this year.
Yeah.
40% from 3, 34 this year. 15 points a game last season, 10 points a game this season. So that's big.
Yeah.
That's
huge.
big. You mix that with the Keegan regression.
Right.
And with Keegan,
I wouldn't call it regression.
well, as a shooter,
he's not worse than he was
No,
last
he's not.
year. He's a better player than he was last year.
he is, but I think what we're struggling with Keegan is honestly, he's just in his caterpillar phase.
Sure.
He's in his
Yeah.
caterpillar
Yeah.
phase, and
Yeah.
we're hoping
Very cocoony right now.
We're very cocoony, super
Yeah.
cocoony
Yeah.
right now,
Yeah.
and we're just hoping that next season he
Right.
becomes a butterfly.
Yeah. Or at the end of
Right?
this season, at some point.
At
Yeah,
some
yeah.
point.
Yeah.
At some point, because I was joking about the trade machine in the pre-show, and you said, Alan, you literally made me go up and take a lap, and I'm not saying
You took that lap
and
yourself.
I did take it myself, and I'm not saying a move, but I'm saying it's a gamble that this kid will be a butterfly, because there's some dudes still cocooning.
Oh, yeah,
and they've
for
been in the league for 5 years.
Yeah.
So that's the hope there, and you combine that with Kevin Huerter, that right there is huge.
Yeah.
Everything that you just laid out, you laid it out perfectly. And now the question is, I guess from a PR standpoint, how do you ask the Beam regime and Kings fans to come see our product that isn't done yet, right? You get stuck between this almost not a lie, but hey, we want to win a championship, but when they go into their office, I mean, we ain't gonna win a championship, but we want to, right?
Aspiring.
We're aspiring to. What I would say, if I'm not even there, whoever, we just want to get in the dance and see what happens. Because
Totally.
that's what it is right now.
Yep.
If you're not planning on making any moves, then I don't want to hear about championship this, championship that, because just get into the dance.
Yeah.
Because this team ain't going to Denver and winning. This team is not winning a 7 games. Think about it. If they haven't got any better, they didn't win last season.
Yeah.
There's a call it, oh, Sabonis didn't do this or Keegan could. They lost. And they have not really improved their roster, which it's okay if that's by design. But why would I think that they're going to play better in a better Western Conference this season?
Yeah.
It's a better Western Conference.
Yeah, no, I mean, what you're saying makes total sense. I mean, the only thing I could say is maybe they just thought, hey, let's enter the season with this look, knowing we're going to make a move at some point.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, that's where kind of you can't say that out loud. You can't say, oh yeah, we're just going to kind of float a little until we figure out which direction we want to go, and then we're going to strike when we feel like the iron's hot. You can't really go out from a PR perspective. You really can't go out and say that, but I shouldn't say I think it feels like that's what the vibe was is let's run back what we had last year. It was a good team. We know what we're going to get from that. We know it's not a perfect team, but we know that team can do some damage. And let's play it out. Let's see with our eyes through real game experience what we really need. And then we'll go adjust from there instead of, again, thinking what we need and hopefully making the right moves. At least it sucks because you got to go through the pain to figure out what you need. But I do think it's been painful, and it's starting to get really painful and getting worse and happening more often. But I think that there is some value in what they're doing. I just think it is a really risky thing to do because you just never know how injuries are going to happen and all that stuff.
You got a month.
Yeah. No, you still do have a month to figure it out. And I think there still is time for them to figure it out internally too. Like I do think, I think that this team does have capabilities of being a 4 seed or being a 3 seed. And that's nothing to scoff at. It's of course not what the ultimate goal is, but that's a good step along the process. I think a lot of people would have said after the 3 seed last year, like, they'll probably be a 6 or a 7 seed. I do think there's value in still being a home court advantage team. And kind of like you're saying, even if you're not going to win it all, get to the tournament and see what happens. Like, who knows how injuries are going to pan out. You might end up being a healthy team again. And, there might be 2 or 3 other contenders that aren't as healthy as you. And you just never know. So I think that again, it's a push and pull of being patient and, yes, also acknowledging this team still needs to go out there and make moves.
Right. It's hard to ask fans that, hey, even though we did this last season, it's not that it was a fluke, but we probably won't do it again, right? Because if you are a 3 seed, you at least expect the team to, and I know we can do the comparisons of where they were last season, this season, but a run has to come eventually because that's what happened last season. And pretty soon we're going to see the difference. And that's fine, but you can't expect fans to assume that as well. All right, got to get to a break. Willie, we see you. We will get to you right after the break. And we also have that Mike Brown sound with his exchange with Malik Monk. That was a little awkward. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season? Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995? Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Sactown Sports is home to the Kings, Niners, and now the business of sports. Hosted by Kelly Brothers and brought to you by Cap Trust, offering customized, independent financial advice at captrust.com. Join Kelly Brothers, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason as they look at the business of sports every Thursday at 7:40 a.m. You want to know how sports really work? Follow the money with Kelly Brothers from Cap Trust on Sactown Sports.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
As we come together to celebrate the end of this long year, Stockton Honda has savings to bring us all cheer. Happy Honda Day savings and selection galore. Stockton Honda's online express purchase and great people give you more.
Save on 400 new Hondas at Stockton Honda during Happy Honda Days. Shop in person or online with our express purchase option.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. A lot of great conversations. A lot of great conversations happening on the text line. Thank you on the text line. A lot of great conversations happening in the Sac chat. Thank you to the Sac chat. And a lot of great conversations happening on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. And that is where Will joins us, who wants to have a conversation about Coach Mike Brown. What's up, Will? You're on Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
What's up, fellas? Stiles and Watkins, man. You guys are coming around. You guys are just like Drake, Drake out there after every game, stupid game that they play like this. Drake comes out of the closet to tell it like it is. Him and Matt Barnes, man, they was letting him loose last night. Let me tell you something, man. Look, here's the problem. There's no consistency, and let me make my points, and then you guys critique it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no consistency coming from Coach Brown. Okay, for one thing, I don't know. I have nothing against Duarte. Okay, but Duarte played 30 minutes last night. Monk 20. The heart and soul of that team is Malik Monk. I don't care what nobody say. Malik's get everything for him when he's in the flow of the game. I mean, Fox is the star. And Sabonis gets his, but Malik make those guys get involved in the game. And then another thing, look, I have nothing against Alex Lynn. Now, these are all decisions that Coach Brown makes. Now, you got JaVale coming off the bench playing like a dog, rebounding, blocking shots, diving on the floor, doing all that kind of stuff while Alex is hurt. Okay? He comes back. He gets all those minutes back automatically. Alex Lynn is a career backup center. He ain't no star. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
JaVale got a couple of rings on his fingers. And the decisions that Brown be making, I'm saying, look, man, you need defense. You need banging. And then you got – because, man, Charlotte had no center. They had nobody in the post. And then you got my man crying all night and fumbling the ball out of bounds. And you got to sit – look, Sabonis just didn't have it last night. He didn't have it last night because he kept losing the ball and he kept complaining. He had half step behind on defense because he keeps crying. It was a lot. And then I think Malik probably said, man, look, why did Duarte in there playing all those minutes? And then you got Barnes 3 points. Herter 4 points. I mean, it's all on the head coach. And then it's like he got these two assistants in his ear all the time. It's like, man, you got to make decisions. You got to make the decisions about who you sending in and what you're doing. It's like he's coaching the team by committee. It's like he's coaching the team by committee. He has to make decisions. And then you can't put Fox on the to play defense on the star guard on the other team. You can't do that. You got to put Monk or my man Ellis.
But Fox wants to. He wants that challenge, though.
It don't matter. Who the coach?
Yeah.
Who's the coach? I mean, Fox got to concentrate on getting the team, getting scoring, and he can't be running around because he couldn't stay with him anyway. I mean, it was just so frustrating. And you guys are on top. Look, we can't sugarcoat it no more. Coach Brown have to make decisions and stop bringing it. Like my man JaVale didn't play a minute last night.
No.
Now you tell me how that made sense.
Yeah.
Is JaVale McGee supposed to win that game yesterday?
No, that ain't what I'm saying. See, there you go. You always do that. I didn't say he's supposed to win the game. What I'm saying is
you just spent 3 minutes talking about JaVale.
No, I said Sabonis had 11 damn turnovers. Okay? He did nothing. I mean, you see, that's why we never have a civil conversation, because all I'm saying is, look, you got Duarte playing 30 minutes. You got Sabonis playing, 35 minutes, 11 turnovers. Okay? There ain't no way in the hell they should lose that game last night. No way.
No, thanks, Willie. Thank you. Yeah, look, a lot to take in there. Thanks for the call, Willie. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's saying in general, because I don't know if you and Willie have ever had a back and forth before.
Oh, that's
yeah. I think he's just saying maybe the other shows in general. No, thanks for the call, Willie. I will say this. This is a quote from Mike Brown and from our own Brendan Nunez, just as far as what Mike Brown had to say last night. And then we have sound from Mike Brown about specifically the Malik Monk situation. This is a quote. Our execution down the stretch and our sense of urgency on both sides of the ball was alarming. It wasn't good. And then our half-court defense, to not have an awareness, a sense of urgency, it was not a good feeling being out there and being part of it. And obviously, I have something to do with it too, because I didn't have our guys ready, apparently. So I have seen that certain Kings fans feel that maybe right now, as Coach Mike Brown coaches this team into like, hey, you guys can figure it out on the fly, right? Or you guys can figure it out in game. There does seem to be a lot of that when he talks. And even though they're not an extremely young team, maybe it's pulling it back to say, you got to know your personnel. I've seen people get upset that he's not going with a lot of the quick timeouts as often as he should. Yeah. And hey, it's time to start understanding who your team is. And maybe this is the straw to where I can't let these dudes go and give them the freedom that I thought I initially could, because they're not getting it done when they do that.
I think the problem with that is, though, last year Mike Brown was really quick on timeouts, and they were the 22nd ranked defense in the league. Like,
I'm not just talking defensively, I guess just in general. I don't know.
I feel like Mike Brown, and even in that quote, to me, the word that like all that Mike Brown said yesterday, the one word that's screaming to me, apparently.
That's what, no, same with me.
That is telling me that Mike Brown honestly doesn't believe what he does not actually think it's his fault. I don't either. Like, as someone I feel like I'm around this team, I don't think Mike Brown is not putting this team in the right situations. I see a lot of people saying, fire Mike Brown. I think all that is just ridiculous. Like, what do people want out of Mike Brown? Like, yes, Mike Brown is taking accountability for his team apparently not being prepared. But I think that this team is not going out there and executing game plans routinely. Malik Monk talked the other day. We played sound yesterday. Him straight up calling the team lazy when they don't play well. Mike Brown has said countless times, internal leadership. I can only tell these guys what to do so many times. They have to go out and do it. Did Mike Brown turn the ball over 20 times yesterday?
No.
I don't think he did. I don't think he told his team, hey, go out there, be loose, play free. No, I'm pretty sure he said we need to take care of the ball. We need to play defense. And the Kings did not play defense the second half, and they did not take care of the ball the entire game. I don't think that this is on Mike Brown. And I think he's trying to figure it out. I mean, it's his job as a coach to, if he feels like things aren't going well, which, by the way, he just made a lineup change. Do you change things when you feel like things are going well? No. So clearly Mike Brown doesn't think things are going well despite their good record. He's trying. He's filtering things out. We talked to Chris Biederman yesterday. He mentioned how much this team practices. I don't think that a lot of this is just on the fly. I feel like they've been running rotations in practice, and it's just this is the first time we're actually seeing it in game. And to me, I mean, Mike Brown's trying. I just think that the guys, frankly, aren't doing their jobs.
Now, I would say that if this was a game, right, there are certain games where, to your point, there are certain games where you can put on the coach. If they lost a game and there was a weird rotation or something was blatantly obvious, right, and you're up against the Denver Nuggets, right, or a team that you need to be on your P's and Q's, then sure, right? But against the Charlotte Hornets off a back-to-back, missing LaMelo Ball, missing Gordon Hayward, I think Mike Brown, maybe in a way, is saying, De'Aaron, I can't call you an MVP, right? Because MVP encapsulates everything. That's why an MVP, besides the triple-double year with Russell, is always basically about a 4 seed or better, right? I can't call you an MVP and, have to chase around the kiddos. That's not normally what happens. So I hear you on that one, because this isn't a game where you should need a bunch of this or a bunch of that.
Do you need Greg Popovich to beat the Hornets?
You shouldn't. No, you shouldn't. So did I think once you got in the game, you could have ran some more traps, you could have done some things? I do agree with that. But holistically, you this shouldn't have to be a Mike Brown game to take care of this. And number two, as we got to get to a break and we see you on the line, Scooter, we'll get to you. We know you're a P1 in our Sack Chat. And number two, maybe some of this, and I'm not trying to stir the pot or anything, but is some of this saying, if I'm Mike Brown, to Monty McNair, These are the ingredients that I have. We have a game plan. Dudes are not doing their job. Kevin Huerter, okay? Are you going to boom or bust? You got moved to the bench. Make a jump shot. You're wide open in the corner. It's the shortest three-pointer on the court. Make a shot. Yeah. Make a shot. So Mike Brown didn't choose to re-sign Harrison Barnes, okay? He didn't make these decisions. Nope. So does he have some culpability in some spots? Do I think they could have got the ball out of Miles Bridges' hands and Terry Rozier a little bit more? Yeah. But do I think it's Mike Brown's fault that they're having that conversation against the Charlotte Hornets off a back-to-back? No, I don't. Got to get to a break. When we get back, see both callers on the line, and we will get to that Mike Brown sound with the exchange with Malik Monk. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler? They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard. It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
That doesn't sound good.
Paper shredder's jammed, but I think I fixed it.
Oh, well, try shredding these $50 bills then.
Seems like it's working.
Better try another $400.
Stop. Instead of using money, use regular paper. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-859-3220. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 to 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-859-3220. That's 800-859-3220 for $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. 800-859-3220.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications, like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Trying to have some fun on a day that hasn't been a ton of fun.
No.
Hasn't been a ton of fun.
That was fun.
Let's get through some of these text messages on the text line from the 916. Hypothetical question. If the Kings were a play-in team at the end of the year, are they winning those games? That's from Nick. Depends who else is in them, because the Pelicans might be better now.
Oh my gosh.
The Pelicans might be in them. The Pelicans might be in them. Here you go from the 916 as well. For me, watching last night, Fox needs to be way more aggressive to start the game. He got his in the end, but he can't wait so long to get started. Seemed like the rest of the team was good, just waiting for fourth quarter Fox to show up and then win them the game. I think he had like 3 points in the first half. No good. James and Carmichael.
He was just bad in the first half. I would not say he needed to be more aggressive. I'm looking at the first 3 quarters here. First quarter, De'Aaron Fox, 0 of 5 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3, 0 points. At the end of the first half, he had 9 points. He was 3 of 11, 2 of 7 from 3. And then at the end of the third, he was 6 of 16, 3 of 8, 18 points. So it was just a really inefficient night. I don't know if he needed to press.
This might be a little bit of a basic take, but I would like to, I'm sure we can find the splits somewhere. You know, a lot of guys, they just, when you see that first shot go in, it's time to cook.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And we were at that game. They actually lost that game when he had 17 points. It was his birthday, I think.
Yeah.
70 points in the first quarter. So I wonder how much of this is, number one, he wants to make sure other guys get going. And then number two, then he takes his first shot or first couple shots. They don't go down. And Sabonis is besides the turnover, Sabonis was cooking. So maybe De'Aaron felt like he was in a weird spot. But yeah, I would say that maybe taking out the part of that text about the first half, as far as the second half is concerned, could it be a blessing and a curse, this whole fourth quarter Fox clutch thing, where everybody else is almost useless because it's just let's just wait for De'Aaron.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely blessing and a curse is definitely the way of putting it, because it is. I mean, especially if he's if he doesn't have it, or B, if he's just not playing on that night, like it's a little bit like you can kind of feel a little bit of people looking around like, oh, this is normally the time where he kind of usually just takes it the rest of the way here. And, you know, Malik is somebody who's capable of stepping into that role, but it's not the same as De'Aaron. And I don't know. I think I like the fact that he allows his teammates to kind of get involved in that first quarter. Cause to me, you just said it, but you almost know he's going to be able to get his offense when he needs to. Like, he can just have a ridiculous second half and you know, he'll finish with 28 points and no problem. He's almost instant offense. So I think it's more valuable, like you said, to get those other guys going. If Sabonis has it going in that first quarter, let Sabonis cook, set the physicality. If Keegan's knocking it down, well, if he's knocking it down in the first, we need to keep him hot, keep him going, because we see how much different this team is when they're knocking down shots. So I don't have the biggest problem, but of course, on a night like last night, you know, if nobody else has it, that's when I would like De'Aaron to kind of recognize it and take over. But I didn't feel like last night was one of those nights where it just kind of felt like De'Aaron had to take over. I mean, I asked you yesterday too, like, if you were the coach would you rather your stars take you through the way of bad teams, or do you feel like your stars are more important on a night like when you're playing the Magic and, you know, you kind of need more all hands on deck? And I don't know, to me, I felt like last night De'Aaron could have gone crazy. Sure, it would have helped, but I think that they were kind of let down by the other guys. It felt really similar to that Portland game in that aspect where I felt like De'Aaron and Domas brought it. They brought the necessary, at least counting stats to win the game. I look at the other guys and I'm like, okay, their third leading scorer was Chris Duarte with 12. And then again, it brings the Keegan Murray conversation. Keegan had 10 points last night. Like, without Brandon Miller playing, that should be what's the problem here,
man? Brandon.
And then, I mean, HB, we don't need to get back on the HB train, but for that dude to finish with 3 points, like, what's that about?
And that's why even just sitting here and saying they called that timeout and they came out and De'Aaron takes a mid-range jump shot and he hit, I think, the side of the rim or something like that. But I don't even want to talk about that because you just shouldn't have been in that situation at all. And to the Hornets, honestly, they were diving like crazy on every screen.
Yeah.
They were just flopping everywhere, right? And I believe somebody got fined on the Hornets a couple games ago. But I don't blame them. When you've lost 11 straight,
you got to pull out all the
you
tricks.
You might need to play dirty. I don't really care. You might need to go bush league a little bit to get that W. And it worked because Sabonis couldn't set a screen. And, you know, shame on the rest for not seeing it. They were just diving on everything. This is bad basketball.
It was really bad.
Yesterday
was the worst basketball game we've seen all year.
This is first game outside pickup Saturday morning. Everybody's still half asleep. And
8:30.
8:30. You go to 21, and then somebody shows up there, the 11th man. You got to wait an hour because everybody's bricking it everywhere. That's what last night was. Let's go to Scoot 916 that wants to be a part of the conversation. 916-339-1140. Scooter, what you got for us?
First, guys, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Sans last night, but let's. I want to go back. I want to go. I mean, forget about last night, if you can. My original question when I called was going to be: is this team what it is? Like, I equate it to think about the 107 game win season for the Giants. Right, almost every player on that team was overachieving that year. Did we just overachieve last year on the Kings, and this is what the team is? And, I mean, you look up and down the lineup, you got Fox and Sabonis who are going to do what they're going to do, and other people need to get involved. I mean, obviously the Herter issue is a big problem, but is that who Herter is? HB, is that who HB is? You know, do we need to reconstruct the role players to get to that next level? That's my first question. The second question that I have is, while it's fun watching Fox do what he does in the fourth quarter, it's fantastic. Is there too much of that going on, and we're depending too much on him doing that rather than getting other guys more involved late in the game? Because in my mind, when teams start keying on him, which it looks like they're starting to do, now he has to shuffle the ball off to other guys who haven't shot the ball in 5 or 6 minutes, who are likely going to be cold. Well, now you have the rest of the team who isn't contributing because they're missing shots because they're cold. I'm just wondering if there's too much of the solo ball Fox going on. And let me be clear, I'm not dogging on Fox.
Right.
I mean, again, I love watching it. But I'm just wondering strategically if the rest of the guys need to be more involved in that fourth quarter rather than seeing just fourth quarter Fox, and let fourth quarter Fox come out every once in a while, or is it just that the other guys have been so bad that he feels it necessary to be what he's been? Those are my two main issues. I don't have any problem with Brown. I think Brown's trying to do the best he can with the pieces he's got. My only thing on Brown has ever been, I feel like he's a little too stubborn with his rotations.
Yeah. No, thanks, Scoot. Always holding it down on the YouTube chat, the Sack Chat, as we call it. And for the De'Aaron Fox thing, I think both things can be true. I think that De'Aaron does feel like, okay, I got to take over. But sometimes at the same time, it's, hey, well, you have to take over because other guys haven't gotten to shoot in a while and things like that. Maybe the question is the fourth quarter thing happening as organically as it was last season, or does it feel a little bit more forced this season? I'm not sure.
I think last year, if anything, felt more forced. I don't think I'm looking at the last 5 minutes of yesterday, and it is a lot of De'Aaron Fox. I mean, I'm seeing De'Aaron checks in at like 5:30, and for Davion Mitchell takes I think I see 6 shots here, and then 2 from Malik, 1 tip in from Sabonis. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So I do think, but I will also say it's not uncommon. Yes, De'Aaron is heavily utilized in the fourth quarter, especially down the stretch, but that's what all great teams do. All teams at the last 5 minutes, it's really only in terms of the offense running through somebody, it's usually one person, and then everybody just kind of spaces the floor. You'll run a pick and roll. Everything just kind of simplifies in the last 5 minutes. That's where the stars take over. That's where De'Aaron's going to look for his little mid-range jump shot. I think that's fine. I think that him and Malik do have a good split of, okay, it's going to be De'Aaron trying to take it ISO, or it's going to be Malik running a pick and roll with Sabonis, or Malik just standing out in the court. I mean, Malik took a 30-footer yesterday with a minute left that I thought was a terrible shot.
In the first,
in the fourth quarter, at the end of the first quarter one.
That was terrible.
That was horrible. That was absolutely horrible. That's how I knew Malik was just trying to show out against his old team.
He got benched.
It was nuts. But to Scooter's first point as well, is this just how good this team is? I think the 107 win Giants team is a really, really good comp. I would say yes. I would say this is how good this collection of guys can be. Now, can they make moves? Sure. I will also say, though, Kevin Huerter's playing really bad. Really, really bad. He can shoot better just by being the Kevin Huerter we've seen him be. He's being uncharacteristically bad. I think that goes a long way for this team just looking more like the team they did last year.
But I do think, to Scooter's point, in that 107 win season, the Giants had the most, it was either in the league or the history, the most pinch hit home runs, right?
Sure,
not scalable, not something that you can plan on. And I'm looking here at Kevin Huerter's numbers. Okay, last season was the first season he eclipsed 40% from three.
Yeah.
Before that, the closest he got was 38.9 his last season with the Hawks. And when it comes to his field goal percentage, that was 3 points higher. He shot 48% from field goal, 3 points higher than its second highest in his career, and in scoring 3 points higher than any other time in his career.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe Kevin Huerter isn't the guy he is last season, but he also can't be the guy he is this season right now. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, we will have the sound from Mike Brown and Malik Monk's exchange. More of your calls, more of your texts. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Thank you to, we see Emmy here on the text line. Happy New Year to you, Emmy. Also hoping Sasha gets more minutes. Yes, I mean, after a situation like last night, you got to try something. We're seeing on the Sac chat, free Kobe Jones. All hands on deck. All hands on deck. Can someone bring up Ford? Can we get a free Ford hashtag as well? We want everybody available.
I got a question when it comes to Stockton and the G League players. So Keon's already got a bunch of run with the Kings. Is bringing up Colby, playing him, does that create any issues for the Kings? Nothing, right? It's all on an individual basis, correct? It's not like you can only play a Stockton or a G League player so much in the player,
Right.
They have a games limit where it's like if you're on a two-way contract, I think it's 50 games.
But it's individual, correct? It's not,
it's not
based
collective.
on
No, it's not
so
like
you can
Keon's
bring up the
played
whole
20.
Stockton team and they're as long as it's
under 50 games.
Okay. I don't know why you would do that.
No,
right.
There's absolutely no reason
all right,
to.
just checking.
Yeah. Well, and going back to the Keon situation. Yeah. I mean, whether it's a flow of the game or whatever it is, Davion, I got to say, Davion Mitchell, I think I figured this one out, Chris. It's not about getting to the cup. Okay. That man has no touch. He's got no touch on his layups. I saw him smoke at least 2 to 3 layups last night. He can get to the cup.
He's small, though. I mean,
I know,
that's really
but that's why Kyrie, why it looks so pretty when Kyrie finishes. I know Steph is a little bit taller, but Steph as well. And Tyrese Maxey, I saw him with a nice jelly layup yesterday when I was watching the Sixers game. Davion, he doesn't like getting to the cup because he does not have any touch at the rim. Yeah. And that's not really his fault.
Well, yeah.
But it's just limited. But I'm like,
and he's not very creative. I mean,
I know he's fast.
To your Kyrie point, too, he's not really creative. Like, if you're going to be that small, you have to be really creative around the rim.
It just feels like when he gets to the cup, number one, he's a bit surprised. Yeah. And number two, he just kind of chucks it up. Yeah. And I just was thinking about that because I'm just thinking, okay, not that we see Keon drive to the lane and do things as well, but I'm just trying to see, okay, what can Davion bring this team out? Okay, he got to the cup a couple times because it's not all just about the threes, but he cannot finish. He cannot finish.
No, it's tough for Davion. I mean, it's a weird situation where he's definitely fast enough to get to the rim, but to your point, like he can't. Once he gets there, it's kind of tough for him to be a threat, and he's been, I think, doing a much better job of, but like it felt like
he tried to dunk yesterday.
He did, yeah. He got swatted. He did. It was
we
sick
got fouled.
pass too.
He got fouled.
I think it's just tough for him because he's trying to find the balance of like what's the right diet of threes versus attacking the rim, because Keon really didn't put the ball on the ground at all. He didn't attack the rim at all. It was really only open threes. I just think it's going to be tough for Davion to really find his offense in general, in this offense specifically. I think if he runs pick and roll, he can operate through that a little bit more. But when he's just driving the lane, it's really tough for a guy who's as short as he is.
Yeah.
It just is.
All right, let's get to
Isaiah
this.
Thomas so sick.
Well, right. Well, he
was small, but he was able to finish.
You have to work on your English.
Absolutely. And you got to be strong enough. Like
Davion a strong dude.
Yeah, but like Isaiah Thomas, looked like his arms look like Popeye. Like he was massive.
You can give him a call. He's still looking to play.
He definitely
get a free Isaiah Thomas.
He's
bring him
definitely
back.
available for sure.
And he's ready. He will be on a plane tomorrow. All right, let's get to the Mike Brown sound. So let's lay this out first.
Yes.
If you were maybe listening here at Sactown Sports, the flagship, or if you happen to miss what happened, I wouldn't call it a huge deal, but essentially Malik Monk gets in the game after his wild 3-point shot in the corner, and he also turned the ball over a couple times with some sloppy passes. He was playing his former team, as Chris had mentioned. He was essentially benched. He had played 5 minutes in the first half. Gets in the game, makes 1 or 2 3. Was it after the second three?
I think he hit one. It might have been 2 threes. It was either 1 or 2 threes.
Right. So after one of the threes he hits, he chirps. And listening to the broadcast with Katie and Mark, I think they were also confused because
they caught it on the broadcast.
Mark said what Mark said. I just remembered. Mark said Malik Monk looks over to his bench for approval. That's what he said.
Okay.
So nobody knew what happened.
Yeah.
And then a couple different TV media outlets went on and found they had different angles of it. And Malik is saying something to the bench and kind of to Mike Brown, wasn't really sure. So Mike Brown was asked about it. And was it Brendan who asked this question?
Matt George.
Matt George asked this question. And this is what Coach Brown had to say.
Yeah, no, it's heat of the moment. Malik and I think everybody has seen it, but Malik and I have gotten into exchanges before. This is not the first time, and I bet a lot of money it won't be the last time. So that's not a big deal. You're right. The first 5 out there, I thought they initially did a good job, and then once we made subs, I like we were throwing underhand passes and. It was in my opinion, probably one of the laziest, loosest games that we've had where we decided to play that way, and it gave them confidence. And anytime you give an NBA team confidence, especially with, they struggled scoring, they're missing a handful of guys. But they're NBA players. It's an NBA team. And Cliff does a nice job with that group. He continues to get them to try to play hard. But when you give a team confidence like we gave them tonight, things like that can turn into a loss.
Yeah, so I wouldn't take that as a shot back at Malik, but he did a little bit later after he talked about the exchange, said, sloppy passes, underhand passes, because that is exactly what Malik did.
Yeah.
And one had a little bit too much mustard for Sabonis, and Sabonis fumbled the ball, and that was a turnover. And that whole stretch right there was the last that we saw of Malik Monk in the first half. And then I want to know what Malik said to him. And a lot of people have said on the text line and in the Sac chat has said maybe Malik was saying, stop starting Chris Duarte over me. I highly doubt it.
I very much doubt that.
But what do you think? And look, it's not on us to judge a relationship whether you think it's healthy or not. But I do think it's a little unique, right? And to have to answer those questions, I do think it's a bit unique. Can you think of another team and coach, right? And I know I don't know if you want to consider him a player's coach or not. I probably would.
Yeah. But
just the idea of the chirping, and you had the Keegan Murray, which ended up funny because they won.
Yeah.
Right. Flipping him off.
Totally.
Is it? I don't know. Maybe I'm getting a little say off my lawn
I think it's
here.
Nothing. I think it's nothing. Especially I think Mike Brown's probably laughing. He's like, y'all know I used to deal with Draymond Green.
Right. That's also true.
You think this little thing is something? This is casual. I can have this kind of conversation all day. I mean, to be serious, I think Malik and Mike Brown do have a great understanding of each other. I don't think there's any scarring of that relationship. I just kind of think that's how those two are.
There was a pat on the back later on in that clip.
And Malik finished the game.
Yeah,
it's not like it was so bad that Mike Brown's like, you know what, forget you then, man.
Yeah.
You're going to upstage me as a coach. Sit on the bench the rest of the game. Whatever. He let him play in the second half. He finished the game. Clearly it's not much of nothing, but we've seen this before. We saw them in training camp have that moment that went viral where he's like, Malik, if you do this, I'm going to lose my top. And he yells at Malik in front of everybody, in front of media. It didn't matter. I think those two are just really hot-headed, and they understand that it's just kind of who both of them are. I don't think either of them take it personally. I think both of them actually kind of like that they challenge each other.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Just sometimes to me,
if it were with Keegan, that would be a different story.
Okay. Well, if you're the cool parent, okay, sometimes things can go too far. So I just hope that nothing goes too far because you're the cool dad
for sure
until it's time to, hey,
right.
Son,
I thought you was cool.
Yeah, son, go clean a room. Hey, dad, I thought we were cool. Well, we're cool, but go clean a room.
Yeah, I'm still your dad.
And now there might be an issue with that dynamic from Cole G on the Sac Chat. In sports, things get said between coaches and players in the heat of the moment all the time. From Matthew Henson, it comes across like a father-son relationship, to be honest. Yeah. So it probably is much ado about nothing, or it's something, but it's just something that they do.
I think it's something, but it's
do.
just, it's a little bit of nothing.
All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, continuing the conversation. And if you haven't lost your lunch yet, we're about to go over the Kings' free throw percentages. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
It's a new year, and Good Guys Heating and Cooling has a new heating and air special. It's a 2023 equipment blowout with prices on complete heat and air systems starting at just $8,995. If you have a high quote from another company, call the Good Guys for a free second opinion on repairs and replacement. Don't trust the other guys until you've called the Good Guys. Save 30% on the cost of your home's heating and cooling with proper attic insulation. For a no-cost estimate, call 530-GOOD-AIR or check them out online at goodguysheatingcooling.com. Best service, best price, guaranteed. And that's no bull. License number 1057.
5 dealerships, 1 location. The Knight Group is now in Elk Grove with Elk Grove Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, Elk Grove Subaru, Acura, Audi, and Volkswagen. If you're searching to service or shop for a new vehicle, Knight has it. Trucks, SUVs, sports cars, hybrids, EVs, you name it, Knight has it. Over 2,000 new and used vehicles to choose from, and the Knight Group makes it easy with expert financing, quick service, and a simple 2-step process to value your trade-in. So start and end your search at KnightHasIt.com. That's KnightHasIt.com.
The PGA Club Fitters at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio know that golf should be fun. They also know that players of all abilities will hit the ball farther and straighter, play better golf, shoot lower scores, and have more fun if they get fitted before they purchase golf clubs. Hagen Oaks delivers the same technology and major brands used to fit PGA and LPGA professionals. See how the game can be even more fun. Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio fittings are available 7 days a week. Make yours today by calling 916-808-2531. That's 808-2531.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big ol' nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITPfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
Carmichael Dave here for my good friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Right now, American Energy offering $0 HVAC diagnostics. That's normally $99. For nothing. Let the American Energy team test your system, connections, and all the moving parts of your system to ensure it's functioning properly. Let me say that again. $0 to get your HVAC diagnostic-ted. That's not even a word. That's normally $100. Making the uncomfortable comfortable. That's what American Energy does. That's what they've done since 1981. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since then. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Call today to schedule your appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990. Do it before January 31st or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. A little bit of news here outside of the Kings before we get into these free throw percentages. The Brooklyn Nets, this is per Woj, of course. The Brooklyn Nets still want to build around Mikal Bridges. This is a quote. I believe Brooklyn's intent remains to build and add talent around him. If that was on anybody's, if his name was on anybody's board, I didn't hear too much with the Kings. It was more of a It was more of a he'd be nice, but
super nice.
Probably not gonna happen. It's been really weird out there in Brooklyn. We saw them come to Sacramento, and it was the Cam Thomas show.
Right.
Feels like they don't have the right piece. They're a team with a bunch of wings, which you've seen it work with the Thunder, not really working with the Nets because you have. I don't know what Cam Thomas is. I don't even know if he's a wing or not, but there seems to not really be a good pecking order in Brooklyn, and they're going to have to figure that out. Maybe I wouldn't be surprised if it's Cam Thomas that gets moved because people see their eyes light up at those scoring numbers, and maybe somebody, and from Brooklyn side, we can get somebody that's just a better fit.
Yeah.
Right. So, and Finney Smith as well, which is a name that Brendan Nunez, who we will have on at 12:30 along with Frankie Cardicelli for our Kings roundtable, will be the spiciest roundtable of the year. I can guarantee you that much. So they have him as well. So they got to make some decisions. This is from Jason Anderson. ESPN has picked up the January 12th game between the Sacramento Kings and the Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh, no.
Time has been moved to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. They'll show up for that.
No, they're not. They're not.
Tyrese Maxey.
The Kings are not going to show up for that game.
Who is going to guard Joel Embiid?
Alex Len, I guess.
JaVale McGee.
I don't know. I mean, Philly is one of those. Philly and Boston have been two teams that have just had the Kings number for as long as I can remember. I seriously can't think of the last time where the Kings really, had even split the series between those two teams. It feels like every single time, and it's just not even close. Every single game, it feels like they play. That's a complete blowout. So that did not make today better for me. But I guess it's more recognition for the Kings, and I mean that's going to be a fun matchup to see Tyrese Maxey and De'Aaron, but not going to be a fun matchup to see. I think the end result. I don't mean to be too negative. What is that? 2 weeks out from the game,
right? You're just you have anxiety. 2 weeks out. We got a bunch more losses to get to before then. No, I'm kidding. Seriously. Yeah. So
better start winning games now.
You got it. But literally though.
Seriously.
That's what we're talking about. You're going to look back on these games when you still have these tough games. And I'm fairly sure that stretch, if I'm not mistaken, they have
a brutal stretch.
They have the Bucks as well, right?
The Bucks. So they play Philly on that Friday. Then on Sunday they play the Bucks, and then Tuesday they play the Suns, who I think we agreed do not belong in the same tier.
You never know.
But that's not an easy game. That's still not an easy game.
Well, but they lost to the Hornets, so I don't know if the tiers are tiering right now. And last bit of news coming from the football world to the Niners fans out there, and I guess this is going to be a fun game in a different way because the Rams, who, what was it, Nate? They didn't really care whether they got the 6 or 7 seed. They were locked in at both. They are starting Carson Wentz. Matthew Stafford has had a bunch of injuries throughout these last couple of years, so they're playing it safe. Who he play for? Carson Wentz on the Rams. I guess
everyone
Stetson
forgot.
Bennett didn't get it popping out there.
Well, he's like 35 years old, so
Stetson.
Yeah, he is.
He's a champion.
Yeah.
He's a
That's
champion.
what he
He's a
is.
35-year-old champ.
That's right.
Who won it
That's
at 34.
And Bo Nix and Michael Penix, all those guys are a bit older, kind of doing their thing.
Brandon Whedon, all-stars.
Brandon Whedon, he ain't new to this. He true to this. He started
like a rookie at 28.
I don't know who else the Rams have as their quarterback because Carson Wentz injury-prone guy.
What about Rippon?
Is Rippon their guy?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Is that who they've been ripping it with?
Yeah, so I don't know why they're deciding to go with Carson Wentz, maybe because they want kind of a chance. But hey, or I guess I don't know what the Carson Wentz deal is, but maybe they're just doing him a solid. Hey, Tommy DeVito can get a shot.
Hey, they got Baker Mayfield a job this year.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. There's no way Brock plays a snap then, right?
I don't think so anymore. I know Debo said we played the sound.
He said it's Debo weather, but I don't know if it's Debo.
Yeah, I don't know if it's not Debo weather for the whole game. And to me, the question becomes, what is the point of playing one quarter?
Especially if there's no way Trent Williams plays.
No.
Snap.
No.
So you're going to
I
put
don't know
him
why you
behind.
would start McCaffrey too, because
McCaffrey's
McCaffrey's already confirmed not playing.
There you go.
That was like instantly. Because his calf. Just like who's gonna what's the point? I mean, stack some numbers for Ayuk maybe.
I say
there's
Ayuk
a lot
plays.
of contract incentives this year. Like DeAndre Hopkins needs like 6 catches and 60-something yards to make like $350,000. So I know there's a lot around the league. I don't know how much pertains to the Niners, but that would be the only thing to look out for. Maybe I'll look that up.
Yes, but even so, you're not going to do that. The Debo thing, that's tough. I don't know. I mean, Debo has been healthy this season, but you have so much on the line. What do you care more about? An incentive or because didn't Debo have what was it? Doesn't Debo have I forgot all about. Remember all the conversations we had before
about his contract?
The Niners had Christian McCaffrey about the wide back situation. Right. I did so much research, and now I can't even remember off the top of my head the incentives for him. It kicks in if he runs the football X amount of times. So I don't even know if he hit that this season.
He also, I mean, his agent pretty much lied about not wanting to do that anymore. Do you remember that? In the
I remember that.
So I, you know what? Give me a second. I'll do some digging for you.
Do some digging. Yeah, I remember. I was sitting there making my own contracts. I thought I was going to be an agent, right? I had a lot going on. Okay, if they do this with Debo and they pay him X amount of dollars per run, how does that stack up? So we will hear back from Nate on some of those numbers and any reasons. Really, the point of this exercise is to figure out if there are any legitimate reasons for any 49ers to play this coming week, especially when the Rams are even saying, okay, we don't mind. And we'll look it up on Friday when we do our kind of breakdown.
For those who don't know, real quick, let me get this number in here real quick. Just for those who aren't aware what the Rams are trying to position themselves into, David Lombardi puts this out. Would the Rams rather play Dallas or Detroit in the first round? A win over the Niners would likely mean the Rams would meet the Lions, and a loss would likely mean that the Rams would play the Cowboys.
So they're saying,
yes,
they are more worried about the Lions than the Cowboys. Well,
yeah, in a way.
Yeah, I agree, right?
This is actually great. No.
I would be more afraid of the Cowboys.
No, the Lions can't stop a nosebleed.
I guess this is coming as a Niners fan.
Yeah, if I'm the Rams, I think I probably do have a better chance against the Cowboys because I think Detroit's offense might be better than the Rams' offense. And defensively, it's probably a push.
Goff and Stafford, the NFL wants that.
I definitely think the
NFL wants
the
that.
Rams are a better offense.
If I am a Niners fan right now, I am ecstatic because you own the Cowboys, and the only team that people like Nate and others were worried about were the Rams. And I think the Cowboys handle the Rams, and then you mean
in the playoffs?
Yeah, your Rams issue is gone.
I think there's concern for other teams, but no like real worry for the
right. But the Rams would be gone.
Yeah,
the Rams would be gone. Now, I would say I don't mind. I understand why McVay is kind of doing it. If we're going with the hiding playbooks thing, and we got to face the Niners, so we might as well. If we get to the Niners, we might as well not let them see our best and just power through. But it's all going to be on tape anyway. It's all going to be on film. I think it comes down to we think we have a better chance against the Cowboys. And the Cowboys, I mean, they Cowboys are in a shootout every week, it feels like. The same thing happened to the Seahawks.
Unless they get blown out.
Somebody is scoring a lot. It might not be both of them. So, wow, that is really, really.
We can't forget, though, Matt Stafford's made of glass. I think
You got
if you're already locked into the playoffs, I think it's mission accomplished. Like let's not ruin our shot before we even get there.
Last time Niners played them too, didn't have Chase Young or Randy Gregory.
Well, they also
but it was
have
a pretty
Cooper
close
Kupp.
game. They didn't have that's a great point.
There you go. All right, look, what's your Debo numbers?
So some Debo weather here. His incentives go from 23 to 25. Well, I guess when he signed, so 22. Max of $800,000. 150,000 have already been met last year. He needed 3 rushing TDs in that whole contract. Got those within one season.
Oh, yeah.
The rest, the only more money, the $650,000 left is from getting 380 rushing yards throughout this whole contract. So no point for him to play. He can do that in the next year. right?
Okay.
I don't know how much he has so far, but no point in playing this game to get 50 rushing yards or whatever. So that's all that's left for him.
Wow. Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but he went on Up and Adams and initially said it, but at that time they did not think that
was right off the win. I mean, that was day later.
Right. And again, as we've had some of these conversations with, hey, don't let De'Aaron guard the best player, right? There's players that play and then there's coaches that coach. So I think it all comes down to what that coach wants to do. A little bit of a different situation. It's hard to tell somebody, hey, go check somebody. We don't want you. Because the thing is, if you want De'Aaron to be that MVP caliber player, you want him to be known as a two-way guy.
Oh, yeah.
But not
it's definitely part of it.
Not to the detriment of your team. No disrespect to De'Aaron, but Terry was just cooking last night. Just send some traps. That's it. All right. Got to get to a break. When we get back, we will have those free throw numbers. We are also beginning to preview the Orlando Magic. And at 12 o'clock, we will have Wendell Epps, who does Orlando Magic radio and announcing for the Orlando Magic. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down to 23 points. Match De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't. Right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. People come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
As we come together to celebrate the end of this long, long year, Stockton Honda has savings to bring us all cheer. Happy Honda Day savings and selection galore. Stockton Honda's online express purchase and great people give you more.
Save on 400 new Hondas at Stockton Honda during Happy Honda Days. Shop in person or online with our express purchase option.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Over the years, some of golf's best stories were about the legendary Ben Hogan. Tommy Bolt once said that Hogan was the only player he'd ever known to get an ovation on the practice tee. He said he saw Hogan playing practice rounds before a tournament where half the gallery was made up of other professionals. When Bolt was asked who was better, Jack Nicklaus or Ben Hogan, Bolt replied, "Well, I saw Nicklaus watch Hogan practice, but I never saw Hogan watch Nicklaus." That's a pretty definite answer. Hogan described the game of golf as a game of misses. He said, "The player who misses best is the one who's going to win." He believed that the first hole was the most important, saying, "Well, if you don't birdie the first hole, how can you expect to birdie them all?" Ben Hogan knew the value of positive thinking on the golf course. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Book your free T-check and free exam at Revive Men's Health Sacramento. Now also offering affordable, cutting-edge weight loss medications. Call 916-277-8599 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Got beats.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, taking you up to 2 p.m. We will be joined by Wendell Epps, producer for Orlando Magic Radio. That is in about 15 minutes to let us know what we should be worried about as the Kings take on the Magic. Second half of a back-to-back. And this was their first, oddly enough, they haven't won the second half of back-to-back, but last night was their first time losing the first half of back-to-back.
Yeah, it really throws away the entire plot or whatever narrative line of following. Oh yeah, okay, can the Kings take advantage of, or not take advantage, but can they, play well on the second night of back-to-back? Well, I guess we'll have to wait for the next one, because this one feels like, if you win the second night but lose the first night, then you kind of just did what you normally do, but backwards. And I guess there is something to, hey, you guys played last night, like there's still something left in the tank for the second night. Like that's something you can maybe take on. But realistically, the point was to figure out how to win both sides of the back-to-back. And it's even, you can maybe even argue, I think you said the next back-to-back is a Charlotte-Detroit back-to-back.
Yeah.
You could argue like, okay, even if the Kings get that done, that's kind of about as easy. You'll definitely take it, but that's about as easy as a back-to-back as you're going to get. It's not like that's, okay, now we have a Nuggets Clippers back-to-back. Well, we won the last one, so we should have learned something to take into, like, it's, you kind of ruined your opportunity here to learn something.
The next back-to-back,
I hope they learn something,
is January 9th, Tuesday, and then January 10th, Wednesday. They play the Pistons in Detroit, and then they play the Charlotte Hornets.
Okay.
Both
that's
on the
that's
road.
not nothing. It's you're traveling. Yeah. Both on the road.
They're going to overlook the Pistons because they want to get their back against the Hornets and lose to the Pistons. Trying to see when the next one is.
Don't put that out there.
Couple more. The next one.
It was scary enough when the Pistons were on the losing streak. Now it's just like, it
it's
doesn't
still
even matter.
embarrassing,
Yeah,
right?
it's still as bad.
The next one. February 2nd.
Okay.
And February 3rd.
Okay.
At Pacers, at Bulls.
Okay. Those are those homes?
Away.
Those are away.
So the next two back-to-backs are away. You already had two at home, and you tricked off both.
Right.
So,
at least those are easier ones than, what's been happening in the past. Like, those definitely are, the Bulls are, especially who knows what the Bulls are going to look like at that point in the season.
Exactly.
That's like a week before the trade deadline. So they could be a completely stripped down team at that point. But yeah, it's just disappointing. You had a real opportunity here to actually, pick something up. And again, as has been the story throughout this season, you could have had so much good momentum heading past this game that you really could have brought. You keep talking about separation, how now is the time when teams are really starting to separate themselves, even if it is just 2 or 3 games. It goes a long way in the long run. And yeah, the Kings had a really good opportunity to put themselves the right foot forward, and it just kind of feels like they're right back to the start line. And it's fine. They can still pull together a really good month, and they can still win tonight and have a good win to take out of this back-to-back, but it's just not what you needed.
No. And the last one I'll go over, this is at the end of February, a very bizarre stretch for the Kings. This is actually rough, man. So they go Kings at home, Nuggets at home, okay? After that, that's February 9th. February 11th, they have the Thunder in OKC. February 13th, they're at the Suns. Are they going to play the Suns 18 times?
Seems like
the new Warriors. After that, that's a back-to-back.
Yeah, that's tough.
At Suns, and happy Valentine's Day, Chris. I hope you have good plans. At Nuggets. That's the back-to-back, the 13th and the 14th. After that, they get a random break where they play the Spurs at home.
Oh, that's All-Star break.
That's All-Star break. Yeah. And then after that, they come back from All-Star break with another back-to-back at Clippers, and then the Kings play the Heat at home.
Interesting. So there's a couple more. What? That's three more back-to-backs.
3 more back-to-backs, and they're all the last one is a hybrid one,
right?
But the other 2 are on the road.
This team they've got to figure it out. Even especially, I guess beggars can't be choosers. I'll take it against inferior opponents, but to me they've got to figure it out. And I guess now we have to worry about the first nights of back-to-backs now too, because
the first one.
you can't overlook an opponent on the first night, just because you are so focused on trying to get that second night hump off your back. You can't just drop the first night. And I mean, that's part of what makes back-to-back so hard. It's not just, it's not just the second night. It is also trying to have the proper attention for both games. And, it's one of those things that, again, the great teams in the league really don't have that big of a problem with back-to-backs. Of course, it's still going to be an issue. No one's going to be perfect on back-to-backs, but really great teams, it's not really something that's a big talking point. It feels like it's one of the biggest talking points with the Kings this year.
Right. When you can't get it done. And the last time they faced the Suns, it was part of a back-to-back because they had the Suns on Friday and then they had the T-Wolves on Sunday. So 2 times where the Suns are just good enough to annoy you, and then you get a really good team after that, as they had the T-Wolves and then are going to have the Nuggets. And that's further down the road. Let's get to these numbers here, Chris, because the Kings are the worst free throw shooting team in the league.
They sure are.
At 73.2%. And you have De'Aaron Fox, who is at, and I'm trying to make sure I'm just double checking here. And I literally had to double check to make sure I didn't write this incorrectly. De'Aaron Fox is at 71.6% from free throw.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Domas is at 65.7%. So they're really the guys anchoring the whole team because they're taking the most free throws.
Yeah, by far.
I don't really know what to make of this. Some people have said, going back to the practice thing, oh, is it legs? Is it this? Is it that? I don't know. But all I know is that they're not going to make somebody an MVP unless your name is Shaquille O'Neal shooting 71%. Not as a guard. That's awful.
No, it's awful. I mean, it's really, really bad. And I think I'm not blaming anything except for the guys. Like, those guys are just both really bad free throw shooters. I mean, especially you consider De'Aaron Fox being a guard. He is one of the worst guard free throw shooters, if not the worst guard free throw shooter in the NBA. Like he is unfortunately, he's like Russell Westbrook level of bad free throw shooters. And when you take 7 a game and, your team, takes a total of like 22, you're going to bring down the numbers. And then Domas on top of that, like Sabonis, his best free throw shooting year was 75% in his second season. He's at 65% on 5.5 attempts. So the two of De'Aaron and Domas take more than 50% of the team's free throws, and they're both horrible. And that's going to completely anchor your team. I mean, it's not like anyone else gets to the line reliably every single night. You might get one trip from Malik. You might get one trip every other game from HB and Keegan, but really, when a majority of your free throws are coming from those two dudes and they're missing, 40%, 35% of their shots from there, it's going to drag down the entire team. And I've been saying it almost, it feels like after every single game on the live stream, at some point, the Kings are just going to straight up lose a game because they missed free throws. And I'm really fearful that it's going to end up being a playoff game.
Give me your guess. I know we're up against it. Give me your guess for Russell Westbrook's career free throw percentage. Because I'm assuming you know De'Aaron's.
No, I don't. I actually don't know
De'Aaron's
so career.
We'll
76.
I would say no. There's no way. I would say
too high.
Too high. Way too high.
Okay.
I would say Russell Westbrook is a 73% free throw shooter, and that's about as high as I would be willing to guess.
Russell Westbrook, I'm assuming, shooting a lot less free throws now. Free throw percentage for this season.
Oh, okay. For this season.
No. Hold on. Okay. I'm doing both.
Oh, okay.
63%.
Yikes.
Russell Westbrook over his career, 77.6%.
Oh,
wow.
De'Aaron Fox.
Oh man.
Career?
Let's guess this one.
Mm-hmm.
I would guess like 73%.
I'm gonna say 74.
73.4%.
Okay.
Wow. So barely. I barely get that one.
Barely. So
wow. So he is actually significantly worse than Russell Westbrook as a free throw shooter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's super dangerous. I mean, and that's getting towards the territory we haven't gotten to this serious of a playoff round, but I'm not joking. And I don't know, maybe De'Aaron does say when they matter, he hits them. Shaq used to say the same exact
said that?
I don't know if that's a direct quote, but he has insinuated like, yeah, I know, I'm not great at free throw shooting, but he said like he's acknowledged it's a problem for him. And he's like, it just takes a little bit more focus. I just need to slow down. And yeah, essentially big ones all knocked down. But man, I mean, when your numbers are that bad, you're seriously like stepping into intentional foul territory.
I mean, you're pretty close.
Yeah.
You're pretty close to,
especially Sabonis.
I'm going to foul you hard.
And that gets you, that's the type of thing that gets you off the floor in a playoff
Exactly.
series.
And like I said, the MVP talk, can you imagine if De'Aaron was shooting, can you give a 75, 77?
Yeah.
Dare I say 80%?
Let me
then
see what he shot in the playoffs.
Then you'd be in those conversations. Yeah, I'm sitting here.
Last year in the playoffs, 75%.
All right.
On just under 6 attempts per game.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's fine. And he shot 78%
right.
from the free throw line during the season last year. So
technically
took a step back in the playoffs, technically.
I don't know if this matters, but what do you guys think Rajon Rondo's all-time career percentage is?
Oh, that's terrible. That's near 70, if not lower than
I'll say 75.
61.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, Rondo was like,
I tried to think of the worst.
Wow.
I mean, that's
as
like,
a point guard, championship point guard, 2-time champion.
Yeah.
61.
Huh.
Yeah. And
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Got to get to a break. I'm looking here and I'm just trying to figure out what you even do. Okay. Again, if you're just now listening, thank you for listening. Free throws, the Kings are the worst in the league at 73.2%. De'Aaron Fox is shooting 71.6% from free throw land. And Domantas Sabonis is shooting 65% from free throw. And that's one of those things that might be one of the worst issues to have because it's the toughest to fix because you don't really know what you can do. Got to get to a break. When we get back, we will hear from Wendell Epps, producer for the Atlanta Magic Radio, also is an announcer for the Atlantic Magic G League team. He will get us ready for what to expect from the Orlando Magic tonight, coming off a loss. They've lost 7 of their last 10. They lost last night to the Warriors. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sactown Sports at SactownSports.com.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Please listen closely. Toe fungus is not just an embarrassing cosmetic issue. It can be the sign of an underlying health problem, and if left untreated, can also be dangerous. Even a small spot can spread and get worse. But conventional treatments like foot soaks, prescription drugs, and laser treatments don't get to the root of the problem and are no match for drug-resistant fungi. But researchers have developed a new and different at-home treatment, and now thousands of people have finally ended their struggle with toe fungus. It's called Crystal Flush, and it's now available to try risk-free for 60 days. This is a limited-time offer that's not available in stores. Go to crystalflush.com. That's crystalflush.com. You no longer have to let embarrassing toe fungus ruin your life. But don't wait. Try it risk-free at crystalflush.com. That's crystalflush.com.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 15% on select Sanctuary by Green Fiber blown-in insulation when you buy 30 or more. And there's more. Save 10% on select OSB sheathing when you buy 68 or more. Visit us in-store or online for low prices on the materials you need. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Selection varies by location. While supplies last, discount taken at time of purchase. See sales associate for details.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big old nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now, starting at $85, or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITBfest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
Winter is coming. I know you know that, but are you prepared to keep your family warm all season long? At American Energy Heating and Air, their goal is to exceed your expectations of the heating and air industry by valuing the customer experience and making your home comfort system as efficient as possible for the most value. So book your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. Prevent dangerous gas leaks. Extend the life of that furnace and save on your energy bills. And here's the guarantee. This isn't a sales call. They're not getting in the door so they can try to sell you a bunch of stuff. No, they're just going to do what they say they're going to do. Call today to schedule an appointment at 916-520-9990 or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Get your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. 916-520-9990. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios. KHTKAM Sacramento. KYMX HD2 Sacramento. Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports.
Live and local.
This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. as we get you ready for Kings Magic. It is time to turn the page, maybe not fully, but at least for the next 10 to 15 minutes with our guy, play-by-play for the Orlando Magic G League, Wendell Epps. Wendell, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
Hey, doing excellent. Thank you all so much for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yes, of course. So let's start here. The Orlando Magic lose last night. They are the 5th seed in the East, as we can confirm that losses aren't always great to start the new year because the Kings did the same thing. They've lost 7 of their last 10. What's going on with the Orlando Magic, and how are they going to try to turn this thing around?
Well, I'll start with this, guys. I mean, with the Magic, Paulo Banchero and Franz Wagner have been doing their thing. It's definitely not been their fault. That dynamic duo in their past 5 games, they've each been averaging well over 20 points, and they're looking like all-star caliber players right now. I think the trouble that the Magic have been running into has, number one, been some of the opponents they've been facing recently, right? They played some tough teams recently to start off this West Coast trip, playing at Phoenix, and then last night at Golden State, and even last week you had a tough test against Philadelphia. But I think, shooting and turnovers has been sort of the big reason, and a lot of the players will tell you that. They've been pretty vocal about, we need to fix these turnovers if we want to get back in the win column, and we need to start beating some of these top teams in the Eastern and Western Conference to show our worth. So I think when it comes down to some of the miscues that have been happening recently, a lot of it has been boiled down sort of just to those mental errors with the turnovers and such.
Wendell, I mean, we don't watch a ton of Orlando Magic basketball over here, but I mean, just from what I've gathered from the Magic these past couple seasons, they've always been really long and really defensively minded, but kind of struggled on the offensive end pretty mightily. This season, now that Orlando's actually having some success, how have they kind of fared against some of the more offensive-minded teams this year? Like, I think of, teams like the Pacers and definitely the Bucks this season, Boston, Philly of the world. How has Orlando been able to deal with more of the offensive-focused teams when, their identity has really been defense for as long as I can remember?
Right. I think a lot of that starts with guys like Jalen Suggs, right? Someone that's willing to put their body all over the floor and sacrifice everything. And I think it's just guys really locking in. You also got to give a big shout out to their bench, because I feel like in games against some of those teams you mentioned, like Indiana and Boston, they've had a couple big wins against them. I go back to that in-season tournament game they had against Boston. It was a Friday afternoon, Black Friday. The crowd was absolutely hyped, and a big reason they won that game was because of their bench play. Mo Wagner had a season-high 27 points in that game and was playing very well defensively. Goga Bitadze, who stepped up this season, starting 23 games for our team. He's done really well defensively, sort of as an anchor in the low post and that rim protector, if you will. So I think when it comes to playing against teams like that, just, the X factor stepping up. Jalen Suggs, Goga Bitadze, obviously our offense and defense starts with Banchero and Franz Wagner. But when you're getting those guys off the bench and those guys who are stepping in, playing bigger minutes, playing pivotal roles, it helps out a lot.
Talking to Wendell Epps, play-by-play for the G League Magic. So, Wendell, out here, we think that Malik Monk is our sixth man of the year. But the Magic have a guy in Cole Anthony who he's climbing up that list too. What is it about him that makes him so important to this team? Is he that spark off the bench offensively like Malik Monk? What is it that he does which has him in the conversation for sixth man of the year?
Well, I think a lot of his game is sort of similar to Malik Monk in the sense that he comes off the bench and he's that guy that's going to be that microwave, that scorer right out the gates. And he's been consistent this season. He's kind of had a little bit of a downgrade in his stats in this West Coast trip so far. But if you just look at his season performance overall, Cole's been really great, averaging over 14 points a game, 3.5 assists. He's just a guy that comes in and he's going to give you buckets. He's going to give you a lot of energy. And just the person Cole Anthony is. Remember, this is a guy who signed a contract extension before the regular season started. And I think that gave him a big chip on his shoulder. It made him feel a lot more comfortable heading into the season, knowing that he actually was locked in long term. And this is a guy that's had to also adapt to his six-man role, which is why I think he deserves even more credit for being in the running for sixth man of the year. This is somebody who was starting for the Magic not too long ago, but last season, once Markelle Fultz was coming back into things, Jalen Suggs was starting to develop, Cole kind of went in more of a bench role, and he had to embrace it. It took him a while, but once he fully embraced it, he took it and ran with it. So he's been a big part of the success this season. You look back to some of the big moments this season the Magic have had, their big winning streak they had from November to December, like just moments like that. Cole has been a big guy in his personality. He's such a funny guy. He's great to be around, and the teammates just love playing with him.
Wendell, you mentioned earlier, obviously Franz and Paolo have been huge for the Magic success this season. Funny enough, as a Kings someone who's covered the Kings, Franz is someone who was taken a couple picks before Davion Mitchell. You have Paolo Banchero, who was a pretty big surprise at number one last year. And the Kings took Keegan Four. So two guys who were kind of on the Kings draft radar. Just in general, this is the second season of these two guys playing together, and they've played at an elite level. What's been the biggest difference from those two specifically from last year to this year and them having success?
I think the big thing is really just their confidence, right? More people are starting to watch these guys on a consistent basis, and they're getting more praise. I look back at some of these past couple games. You had Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal shout out the duo of Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner, talking about how they've just improved consistently and constantly from their rookie season and from Franz last year in his second year. And then you look at Steph Curry last night, also giving praise to Paolo and Franz. So it's just the fact that I think they're starting to see that more guys are paying attention to them. And the interesting thing about Banchero specifically, his start of the season, teams were locking in on him because they knew, hey, this is a guy that's the reigning rookie of the year. We have to guard him a little bit more closely. And he kind of had to get used to facing double teams and tight coverages. But especially this past month, Banchero and Wagner have just been really solid for the Magic. And I think, their confidence level, the fact that they've taken on more of a leadership role. They both came into the season saying that they wanted to be bigger leaders on this team. And the team has trusted them. They've been giving them more responsibilities both on and off the court, and they just took it and ran with it.
One more for you. We are talking to Wendell Epps, play-by-play for the G League Magic. You know, Wendell, it's interesting looking at the Magic and certain teams like the Magic and the Thunder on a hot run, because out here in Sacramento, we understand that the window, you're ahead of schedule, and then you can blink and end up being behind schedule. Obviously, the Magic are, I would say, at least a little bit ahead of schedule right now. Do you expect them to just see how everything plays out with this trade deadline or make any type of moves to accelerate that timeline, or do you think they'll just see what they have and go from there?
Yeah, that's kind of the $1 million question that's been going around in Central Florida right now, guys. You know, I see a lot of Magic fans on social media kind of talking about, okay, is this the right guy? Do we make a big move at the trade deadline, or do we kind of wait until the off season and see how things play out? I personally think that if it's for the right guy, you make the move at the deadline, but it's really got to be for the right guy, because this Magic organization, as much as they value talent on the floor, they value personality and how guys are going to fit with their team off the floor, because the group that they have now, it's a special group. I think the Magic, it's no secret that they have one of the best team chemistries in the entire league, just the way that, you know, it's a very young group. It's a very mature group. And these guys just have a lot of fun playing with one another. Obviously, we need shooting, so I think if a good shooter's out there, you know, you go ahead and pull that. But I think at some point, especially if they make the playoffs this year, you know, other superstars, other all-star caliber players in the NBA, they're going to be looking at the Magic as a potential destination. I mean, Orlando's a great city to live in already, so I think, you know, joining a Magic team that's on the rise, you could see the Magic be very active, especially coming into this offseason and heading into next year.
You know, Wendell, I'm not going to do it. We're going to let you go. But you say Orlando's a great place to live, and it's taking everything in my body to not bring up Disney World. Do you get tired of the Disney World jokes?
You know, personally for me, I'm actually a Disney fanatic. I've been to Disney. I just flew to Orlando earlier this year, but I've been to Disney over 25 times actually in my life. Crazy. So I don't mind it, but I know the players and the coaches got to get that.
Well, good stuff. Good stuff. Thank you for all of that. That is Wendell Epps, play-by-play for the G League Magic. Wendell, we will talk to you soon. Thank you, my friend, and enjoy the rest of your season.
Yes, sir. You got it. You as well, guys. Take care.
All righty. Got to get to a break. When we get back, continuing to preview the Magic. And at 12:30, we have our Kings Roundtable with our Sactown Sports Kings insiders, Brendan Nunes and Frankie Cardicelli, who have a lot to say on social media right now about the trade machine. So, yeah, guys, if you're listening right now, I'm firing up some trades. So get ready. 12:30, it's going down. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, a breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam team, Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
California's largest sportsman's expo is back, January 18th at Cal Expo in Sacramento. Find the best selection of boats, side-by-sides, campers, and accessories, all at special prices. And get to your next adventure in style. See Toyota's all-new Tacoma. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, January 18th through 21st at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sactown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking up to 2 p.m., 15 more minutes until our Kings roundtable with our Sactown Sports Kings insiders. They will bring the heat as they always do. Thank you to Wendell Epps, play-by-play for the G League Magic, who had a lot of great information there. Wendell looks like he is a kind of a graduate guy going through everything with the Magic and doing some great work. Wendell, I got to tell you, you got a future, man. So keep doing what you're doing and enjoy the Disney World trips.
Yes.
Have you been to Disney World, by
Not
the way?
World. No, not World. I hear it's like, Disneyland on steroids. Like, it's like, I literally, the biggest thing I hear is that it's too big. So
I've been. Are you a Disney person?
I am. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, big time. Yeah, haven't been in a while though. It's been pre-pandemic since.
So
I've
what do
been
you
to
mean you're a
Disneyland.
Disney person?
Like, I go to Disneyland. There was a portion like a from high school to like, I don't know, second year of college. I probably went like, I would try and go once a year. Me and my friends.
Who is your favorite Disney character?
I don't really have one, but I guess it would be like Goofy or Pluto.
Have you been to the Star Wars land?
No. See, so that's how long it's been.
I have.
It's really since the prices have gone like up.
Yeah, you got to go.
Dude, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
What about like the Guardians of the Galaxy ride?
Well, that was great, but it was. I mean, I wouldn't say it was better as the Tower of Terror, but it's just different. It's a little bit less. It's definitely less scary. It's a lot more fun now. I like how they have like the music.
I think that's
and
my
stuff
favorite
incorporated. But
favorite one.
Yeah,
there you go.
Tower of Terror was the best.
There you go. Well, you know, have you had the big turkey leg?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Turkey leg, Dole Whip,
I haven't had the turkey leg.
It's crazy.
I haven't. I've been down there, but I've never.
It's just a turkey.
Yeah, it's just a turkey leg.
But it's bomb.
Let's go us three.
It goes with the vibe.
I'm down.
Yeah, we should go.
I'm down. Only if we get to go to Magic Mountain, no pun intended. Well, actually, no, that's LA. I'm tripping.
Yeah.
Oh, I was
right,
thinking
yeah,
Disneyland.
Right,
yeah.
right.
We can't
right.
go to Disney World.
I was saying Disneyland.
Yeah,
that's on the
Magic
budget.
Mountain.
That's on the budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're going. Well,
also, my girlfriend
drop
would
me
probably
off.
kill me if I went to Disney World without her.
There you go. Well, we'll make it happen.
I love that.
There you go.
And I don't want to do that either.
Yeah.
Go without her is what I'm saying.
We'll make it happen.
I'd put that on the record. I'd like to go with you guys.
There you go.
Anyway, we got some big injury news that we
cut
should get to.
Yeah. Nate just
or not
giving us
even
a
injury
breakdown.
news. Yeah, just
I just have to, get my words right. Otherwise, I get in trouble.
Why don't you pod it, right?
Pod it?
Go on a podcast, figure it out.
How about
and replay it?
This, this Niners game this week?
Anyway, David Lombardi puts out on social media here, Brock Purdy will not play for the 49ers versus the Rams. Matt Barrows also puts Sam Darnold, of course, will then start for the Sunday finale against the Rams. So interesting little bit of gamesmanship there, huh? Like, how much of that do you think was Shanahan just kind of waiting to see what McVay was going to do?
Oh, yeah. So now I don't know why. I could see Brandon Ayuk. I mean, you got to put somebody out there. Can we see? I know he had the shoulder thing. Is Danny Gray a real person?
He's in the doghouse, dude.
Is he a real person? Has anyone ever seen Danny Gray in person?
I don't think it's injury. I think it's just it's not going to work.
Is he just bad?
I think he doesn't do the little things.
He doesn't
the
want to
blocking.
block.
It's that stuff.
So
I
if
think
George
Ronnie
Pickens
Bell
was available, Kyle Shanahan would say no because he doesn't want to block.
I honestly think, I mean, for what it depends, but I think you're very much onto something.
Wow.
I think Ronnie Bell has eclipsed Danny Gray immensely. Like Ronnie Bell, his only issue is that a few penalties here and there, but like dropping the punt return couple. But it's all rookie stuff.
But he's
young.
a physical dude.
Yeah, he's a physical dude.
He can get trained out of that. Okay, so no Brock Purdy. Nothing else has dropped yet.
No Stafford. No, from the Niners side. I mean, we know no CMC,
right?
Which makes sense. I think we could all but count out Trent Williams. Like there's absolutely no reason to bring Trent out there. Debo doesn't make a lot of sense to play. Kittle, again, unless there's some sort of contract incentives, I don't see what the purpose would be. I mean, defensively, like Bosa as well. Like you're not. I would go straight second. I don't know. I would go straight second unit.
Maybe Bosa can get a cheap sack or something.
Sure,
since his sack numbers.
Like Fred Warner, why would he play? Like I would put everybody under bubble wrap. I don't care about these. Like they won't play for 3 weeks. Like I don't really think that's that big of a deal.
You got to get like Jason Verrett some run For sure, because he just came back. You got to make sure he plays.
I mean, what they're saying, Logan Ryan's going to start at safety.
He did last
week.
Yeah,
again.
Jair Brown's been out, so I mean, the problem is so many starters are hurt. Your starters are becoming, or your backups are becoming the starters. So a lot of those guys will have to play.
Right? Yeah. All right. Well, look, good on the Niners for not forcing the issue. Good on Kyle Shanahan. I mean, this is a franchise guy, right? This is why you played so well throughout the course of the season. And then you had the Kings Magic injury report.
Yes, this is Jason Anderson put out the injury report here, and we have the Orlando Magic have ruled Markelle Fultz out, Joe Ingles out, and Jonathan Isaac out for tonight.
Jonathan Isaac. That's another guy.
I don't know if I've ever seen Jonathan Isaac play in person.
But I know somebody wants him. That name always comes up.
Yeah.
That name always comes up because he's young, but he cannot stay on the court.
I don't even know how young he is anymore.
That's
like he's just been hurt for so long that it's just like I feel like I haven't seen him.
Yeah, not as many miles.
He is 26 years old still.
So Markelle Fultz, who kind of had a refreshing career last season, and now with Jalen Suggs, they're going to have some decisions to make. I know there are a lot of guards out there, but for anybody looking to upgrade, as Wendell Epps said, play-by-play for the G League Magic, does a lot of good work for the Orlando Magic. As he said, they have to make some decisions, and they have a lot of guards.
A lot of guards, like way too many guards. And
that's the thing with Cole Anthony. Yeah, he was a starter. That's what Wendell said. So now all of a sudden, Jalen Suggs comes back, who was injured. Yeah. So maybe
I love watching Jalen Suggs play. I'm really excited. Like he is a dog.
He is. And we knew he was a dog, Gonzaga.
Athlete, man.
And that is why it is so confusing. This is not a shot. This is why it is really confusing to grab those. It's a gamble either way, but I don't know how much less of a gamble it is in college because you have a Jalen Suggs and you have a Davion Mitchell, who both guys played at a high level.
Sure.
And one guy seems to be making that jump and one guy not.
I mean, they kind of do similar things, but I would say Jalen Suggs is like 5 inches taller.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. All right. Before we get to a break, we got Tin on the line who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Tin? 916-339-1140 on the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. What you got for us?
I got some. You know why the Charlotte Hornets won in Sacramento last night? Because Sacramento is the home of the Hornets. I know you from the Bay, bro. Let that soak in. Chris will put you up on game. Peace out, guys. Go Kings.
Stingers up. Oh, I know. I'm up on game. Sac State, Stingers up. You ever been stung by a hornet?
No, not a hornet or a wasp. Yeah.
Just a bee?
Just a bee, thankfully.
I got stung.
Dude, no thanks.
We got to get to a break, but I got stung. I was a kid, and I was 6 years old, something like that. I got stung on my middle finger.
That's like traumatizing.
I got stung on my middle finger, so I couldn't bend it. And my mom is like, dude, stop flipping people off. I'm like, no, I'm not flipping people off.
My finger's on fire.
I got stung. All right. Got to get to a break. When we get back, it's time. The Kings Roundtable with Brendan Nunez and Frankie Cardicelli. Have I been firing up the trade machine?
Probably.
I guess you'll have to hang around and find out. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
You own a truck because you want to get the job done right. Truck Smart is your work truck headquarters. For over 35 years, they've been outfitting trucks for leading construction firms, service providers, and municipalities in the region. Truck racks, toolboxes, lighting, commercial shells, rhino lining, they've got it all. And their expert installers will get it done right the first time. So visit the truck experts at Truck Smart today with locations in Rockland and Auburn. They'll make your truck your favorite tool. Trucksmart.com.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Get your retirement savings to play ball with your retirement plan. Call Cap Trust today at 916-924-7527 or log on to captrust.com.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. It is time for the Kings Roundtable, joined by Brendan Nunez and Frankie Cardicelli. Guys, how you doing?
Good, not great. Good, not great. It was not a fun night. Obviously, I've been telling everyone that will listen that I told my
family, dude.
I told my family, hey, everybody, I know that my brother who's in the Air Force, he's visiting. Please move your tickets from the 3rd to the 2nd because the Kings are horrible on back-to-backs. So they moved their tickets to the 2nd. They have great seats last night. They're excited to be there. And it was the most dud of a game. And even us, like on Media Row, are talking about how like we just could not feel any energy in the building. But the good news is my family will be back in attendance tonight to see the Kings play the Magic.
I was wondering because you told me before the game, you were like, you told me that they were coming tonight, but you said they were selling their tickets tonight. And so when they lost, I was like, damn, not only did they see the loss, they're definitely not going to be here tomorrow. So they are coming today.
They did not sell at the time last night. So my girlfriend, Allie, she pulled them off of like Ticketmaster and they kept them. So my mom, my brother, my girlfriend, and my sister will be at the game tonight. My brother wants to see the beam in person. He wants to see it. So last night, disappointing for a lot of reasons. On a personal level, I was kind of frustrated, but obviously anyone that was watching that game was frustrated for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, and I don't even know where to go with this, but I just feel bad for people that spend their hard-earned money and just see an absolute – that wasn't even a dud per se, but it just was a sloppy game. I mean, Frankie, we haven't hooped yet, but I would imagine me and you can run some two-man that will look a little bit better than that. I think where we're at with the Kings is we've seen every version. I think, have we covered all the different types of losses of this season? You have the lackadaisical flat, didn't show up. You have the last second loss, but it was a good game. That was in Golden State with the last second. And then you had the just sloppy game where you had multiple chances to figure out and then didn't. Am I missing any types of losses?
Maybe some horrible defense ones might be in there.
Yeah.
Maybe like a half of horrible defense or a quarter that just totally kills you.
A lot, right? Maybe a lot.
Yeah.
Of horrible defense to Kings. Yeah, there's got to be a little more.
There's definitely a handful of those too.
There's one where they just went cold. We definitely had one of those. They just went cold for the day. So I don't know. Me and Chris went back and forth and I yelled even though I said I wasn't going to yell. And that's probably because I'm sleep deprived because my daughter had nightmares last night of Sabonis turning the ball over and free throws being missed. But at this point, I got the trade machine ready. I got one in the chamber. We won't do it now. We'll wait till the next segment. But ultimately, if you don't make any moves, I'm not really going to get upset anymore, fellas. I'm just sitting here thinking you are going to be between a 4 and a 6 seed. And if they don't make any moves, right, you're going to be between a 4 and a 6 seed. And you're just going to have to pray that no teams below you, if you're the Warriors, you make a move, Lakers, the Suns, no teams below you get hot. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
And I don't think that's the worst. Like 4 to 6 is okay to kind of just sit between, and you hope that this group gets more playoff experience. You still can flirt with getting out of the first round. If you make it to the second round at the end of the year, I still think it's a successful year, So, I mean, we've talked about it before. I think they're going to stay active in searching for potential moves. And if they view one that is obviously something that's going to help them and also maintain flexibility moving forward, that they'll probably pull the trigger. But I think that if you don't see something like that out there and you do kind of just ride this thing out, it's not a horrible spot to be in if we're looking at like the slow progress of eventually trying to build to a championship team. You get more playoff experience with this group and you're sitting at 4 to 6. Like, I know they were 3 last year, but that doesn't really sound like negative progress to me.
No, it's not negative progress because of how much better the West continues to get. I mean, this jump from the T-Wolves and this jump from the Thunder, which seemed to be, we're about a couple weeks away, I'd say, from just saying, okay, this is legit.
Yeah.
Because right now, if you look at the two conferences and who's back of who, once you start to get to that, let's see here. So they're one within each other. Then you have the Nuggets. That Clippers already in that 4 seed. They're 4 games back. Once you get past, I would say, the 5-game mark and you're in February, that's when things have to start rolling your way. So we're about a month away from deciding or coming to the conclusion that, okay, the Timberwolves and the Thunder, they're legit.
Yeah, I mean, I think right now the Kings are just in a very kind of, they were playing some good basketball for a while. Like I remember posting something like a week or so ago, like the list of games on the ESPN portion of the Kings schedule, how I said there's a lot of green because the W's are green on there. A lot of good basketball, but obviously the last couple of games they've lost 3 of 5, I believe. It's a little concerning seeing them obviously lose to Portland. It's the teams they're losing to. They fall down to Portland. They lose to Atlanta, who has not been fantastic this year. Their offense has been very, very good, but Atlanta as a whole, not a great product. Maybe the worst defense in the NBA. They turn around and win that game. You beat Memphis, which is great, obviously. I mean, Memphis is playing good basketball, and you should beat a team like that right now. But I'm just looking at these matchups and saying the Kings are just not kind of having that punch they had last year. And maybe that's because the league is adapted. Maybe that's because that's the way that things work. You're not going to come out and expect the same exact success, but it is come to a question of, and we talk about it every week, it's about when is the right time to make moves. Like you said, 4 to 6 is fine, but I think this team has higher aspirations than that, and they expect more out of themselves than finishing on a 6, the final seed, the final playoff spot, or even like a play-in team. They expect more, and I think internally they're trying these things out. Chris Duarte's in the starting lineup. That's happening. Davion Mitchell's back in the rotation. They're trying these different things and trying to find the right rhythm. And last night there was just no rhythm, like nothing. Yeah. And maybe that's them playing down to the level of their competition, which is something the Kings have done over the past year and maybe even further than that. It's a team that decade. A lot of teams do that too. A lot of teams play down to the level of their competition. I think that's something the Kings do more so. But I'm just kind of at the point where there's not many other buttons you can press with this group. We're kind of seeing them exhaust all options right now. I'm not sure what other things they could try. They haven't tried yet. But, and again, they're 19 and 13 right now. They're in the same record or a little better than last year. There's by no means am I saying something at the panic button. But like you said, we have 3-4 weeks until there's decision time. And if they continue to struggle like this and this homestand, it can be telling, and then obviously a big east road trip next week, I think it's going to tell us a lot about what direction they're going to have to go in.
Well, and I think it's kind of funny, like Frank mentioned, like they're 19 and 13. This team is on a 48-49 win pace,
right?
But it just feels different. I don't know if that's expectations coming into this year. I'm sure that plays a part, or expecting just more progress from that point, but you're on pace for almost 50 wins.
Right. So Chris and I was talking about this, and maybe Frankie, maybe you remember because a lot of times you've come on and you said, oh yeah, they're actually doing better than they were last season. When was the big run last season?
They had a 6-game winning streak in, I believe,
early in the year.
It was later too. I think it was February or March. I can pull it up, but it was later in the year. They had a 7-8 game winning streak early in the season. Mm-hmm. And as I'm pulling up last year's schedule.
So I'm looking here just in January. They started off January 19 and 16, January 1st, ended January the 3 seed at 28 and 21.
Yeah, you're right. And they did have a 6-game winning streak in January.
And then they held on to that 3 seed the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So we're looking at, if we're comparing it to last year's group about a week or two from now, if we're being like, oh, spot on, that's when they made their run. But I mean, these things can happen at any time. It's just the schedule the Kings have had. And I think I brought up last time I was on with you guys how the strength of schedule really dropped off. The Kings were like in the top upper half. I think they dropped from like 6th or 7th to maybe 15th or 14th. Like they really got through that rough stretch. You're not taking advantage of these games right now. You lost to Portland. You lost to Charlotte. That really impacts your strength of schedule. So obviously from now on, things look a little more complicated.
Yeah. I mean, to me, the reason why it feels like, I mean, we have a similar record to what we had last year, but it feels worse is the losses to me. Like, I mean, it's the fact that when you lose so big that it's impossible to just try and brush it off and say, it's fine. Like, you're not going to go 82-0. Like you're going to lose to some good teams eventually. It's the fact that when you lose, it's like by 15 points. And then 2 of the losses have now been to Portland and then to Charlotte. You really kind of almost gave it up against Atlanta as well. It's just, it feels like for all the positive momentum they build for themselves, it just feels like everything comes crashing down when they get that loss because the loss is so bad that you just can't move on from it. And I don't really know what to do with it. And it's what's made it so tough to kind of gauge this team. It's the fact that they have they're still 2-0 over the Lakers, 2-0 over OKC. They have wins over Denver, Dallas, all the best teams, Minnesota. But it kind of gets negated because the losses have been so bad that it's just like I can't realistically, I can't figure out which team they are, or is that the team they are? Is that they can beat good teams, but they can also on any given night, like Brendan used to say last year, they're good enough to win every night. They're also bad enough defensively to lose every single night. Is that just who they continue to be, but just in a different fashion?
Pretty much, really, right? Like, I mean, you can take it how you want. Like you can look at those losses and be like, wow, this team crumbles at times and almost seems to, I think a lot of the wording they use is like not punch back when they get hit first. But then you can look at those wins against Minnesota, against Denver, against OKC, and it's like, that's super encouraging. Yeah. Being able to take care of business against those teams is not nothing. Those are huge wins and statement wins. And when you get to the postseason, you're playing some of these better teams. You just don't want to be flirting, obviously, with that play-in conversation where
that's what I'm saying.
This is where, one game, like Chris is saying, where it feels like they can lose any given night, which is the case for any NBA team, really. But it's not just going cold, right? The going cold ones are forgivable in my mind. It's last night where they talk about controllables a lot. It's missing free throws. It's unforced turnovers. It's taking bad shots early in the shot clock, not getting to the second side of your action, or just poor defensive rotations. It's all those little controllables that get so worrisome, right? But I kind of think that the big wins almost in my mind outweigh the big losses at times, but it's very,
I don't think so.
If they got a huge win against Orlando tonight, like we forget about Charlotte pretty quick.
Oh, for sure.
No, we wouldn't.
So.
No, we
really
wouldn't,
don't
because
think
that just means they're going to lose
at the
next
moment.
game.
For the moment, you do, but obviously it's a larger discussion because we were just talking about with Jason Ross out there. Like the wins do kind of, for a moment, you forget because if the Kings put a 20 spot on Orlando, we're going to be like, it's going to be great. Kings look fantastic tonight. But then again, when they go out and play against, who do they play next week on the East Coast trip? They play
for
Philly.
The rest of this time,
yeah, Philly. They have a couple other tough games. Like
they got at Bucks.
Concerning matchups are on the horizon here. And then quick side note, we were talking about straight the schedule. The Kings were 14th last week when we were sitting here talking about it. Since that, they lost to Portland. They barely beat Atlanta. They lose to Charlotte. They beat Memphis. They went from 14th. They're now 8th in the NBA, hardest remaining strength of schedule. That's 6th in the West. So those are games that are now just not going to be there for you as a cushion. You don't get to look forward to those matchups as, okay, well, at least they play Charlotte twice. At least they play Portland. No, those games, there's 2 that are off your list right there. So that could fall and that could rise up, fall or, rise. But right now they are now 8th in the NBA.
Yeah. And again, second half of a back-to-back, not even the same because they lost last night. So they don't have an opportunity to finally sweep a back-to-back. And you do a little bit softer here. You host the Raptors, you host the Pelicans, you're at Pistons, and you're at Hornets. That's the next back-to-back. And then after that, Friday the 12th and Sunday the 14th, you have at Sixers, at Bucks, a little later than that, at Suns, and then January 18th, Halliburton
push this.
Halliburton jumps home,
Push this
baby.
game.
Got to get to a break. When we get back, Doug, we see you on the line. We will get to you and get to whatever your comment or question is for either Chris, myself, or the Sactown Sports Kings insiders. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
At Ashton Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
What's up? I'm tired of feeling so bloated. That used to be me. Then I got this. Align Bloating Relief plus food digestion. A probiotic, right? Yeah, it works naturally with your gut to help soothe occasional bloating and gas. Plus, it has vitamin B12 to aid digestion by helping convert food to cellular energy. 2 benefits, 1 capsule.
Align Bloating Relief plus Food Digestion from the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Learn more at alignprobiotics.com.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your night. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
Awesome. Hey, babe, can you check the front door? My package is here.
Yeah, on it. Hey, are we still watching our show tonight?
New episode on Prime? You bet. That reminds me, let's hit Whole Foods this afternoon. We need snack supplies.
From package deliveries to entertainment and even fresh groceries, Amazon is in front of hundreds of thousands of customers every single day. Imagine what you could do if your business had that kind of reach. It's not a dream. Right now, you can take advantage of Amazon's expansive network to benefit your business. Unlock expert insights and tap into the full potential of Amazon. Simply text DIGITAL to 916-766-5105 now. Make the smart move. Text DIGITAL to 916-766-5105. Put the power of Amazon to work for you. Text DIGITAL, that's DIGITAL, to 916-766-5105.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers, the No Surprise guys. We love that old song, Respect. You know, RESPECT. It's a good song and a good business philosophy. At Bell Brothers, everything we do is designed to show respect for our customers. We show up on time out of respect. Our technicians are clean-cut, friendly, and wear identification badges. Out of respect. We do good deeds for free for our customers and leave their homes cleaner than we found them. That's right, out of respect. So, if you want plumbing and AC service from a company that will show you some RESPECT, call Bell Brothers. We promise to respect your time, your home, and you. Call Bell Brothers right now to schedule an $87 precision tune-up. Or call if you have plumbing problems. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Get $3 off coupons at Big O Tires and O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Visit sportsexpos.com for locations, seminars, and show info. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, January 18th at Cal Expo.
with A and C. Ooh, I had that for you. That's
Okay.
Alan and Chris, if you didn't catch that. Along with Franco Cardicelli.
Halfway across.
Wow. And
Bars.
Brendan Nunez, our Sactown Sports Kings insiders, as they join us for a couple more segments here as we take your calls and texts. And there's a spicy one on the text line, 916-339-1140. But first, Doug has been hanging out. Let's go to Doug. All guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. What's up, Doug?
Thank you so much. First off, I'd like to say I love your show because you guys do straight sports, and I love that.
Thank
you.
you.
The other thing is that every time that I call, you guys get me in the next segment, and I've had, in the past, waited over an hour to get on, and then I just hang up after a while. But I really appreciate you guys get your callers in right away. So that's kudos to you guys.
Appreciate
What I want to talk about is Kings, and these are the kind of things that I think about as being a fan since I got here in '89. Is it's not how you play or how you lose. Okay, so I mean not how you win or how you lose. It's how you play. It's got to be how did you play? And if all those guys can look at in the mirror and go, you know what, I had a great game last night. I don't know anybody who can say that. Fox is probably the most consistent, and Sabonis has 10 turnovers or whatever it was, 10 or 11. He doesn't have a game like that. Does he get one every now and then? Yeah, just do it against a good team. Don't do it against a bad team. I think we're leaderless still. I don't know. I'm not the fly on the wall in the locker room, but I sure wish Mike Brown would get into somebody's beep and tell him that you're playing for your career. Those guys are in the league a year, maybe two, and you're going to say, "Hey, whatever happened to so and so?" They can't even remember your name. So I think we just need to get some guys that come in and have some leadership qualities and stuff. And I don't know how you do that, but we got some guys that are a lot higher pay grade than me that figured that stuff out. So again, love your show, and I'll keep on listening. So thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks for the call, Doug. Go ahead and cut all that, Nate. That was good stuff there for our promo, coming out with some new liners soon. Thank you, Doug, for that call. And that's the tough thing. These are grown men, right? These are grown men making a lot of money, and that is that line of, does Mike Brown need to be that rah-rah guy? It's really quite the opposite. I mean, we've seen him get animated before, and we can get into it. I know both of you were in that post-game press conference when Coach Mike Brown got asked about the back and forth with Malik Monk. This is a different coaching style. This is not the old school, hey, I coach, you player. That is not how Coach Mike Brown gets down. There's back and forth. There's, I don't want to say arguments, but they are very open about everything. And I don't know if the lack of leadership is because of that, but something is missing. And I don't want to hear about De'Aaron Fox not being that outspoken, because Shai Gilgeous-Alexander seems to be quite the leader, and he's not a loud personality at all. So something is missing. I don't know if it's what Doug is kind of leading to with Coach Mike Brown. I don't know if it's just the players. And I'll tell you what, my trade that we're going to get into pretty soon here might fix some of that. But as of right now with this roster, I just don't think they have a personality in. I would think it's Domas, but again, if it's Domas and then it's a day where you know what I mean, you can't hold on to the basketball, what are you gonna say? So I don't know. Something is missing. I'm just not sure what.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Brown has definitely challenged the internal leadership before. He, to your point, is very big on this is a players' league. It can't just come from me and the other coaches. It's got to come from internally within guys on the roster. He often points to obviously his time with Golden State or San Antonio. And I kind of asked him before about, De'Aaron being a little bit more of a soft-spoken guy. To your point, I might fight back a little bit on the SGA point, by the way. He seems pretty outgoing to me.
All right.
Yeah, you seen the Instagram captions?
But that's
De'Aaron would
Instagram.
never. De'Aaron would never.
That's Gen Zs. They don't talk in real life.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
You're right. But I asked Coach before about does it take a certain personality to have that kind of leadership? Because De'Aaron seems to be a lead by example, a little quieter. And he said that he doesn't really think so. He thinks it's just kind of a learned skill, and that guys that are a little more quiet, he pointed towards Tim Duncan, towards Steph Curry, that when they do speak, that just makes their words hold that much weight. And, De'Aaron mentioned yesterday in postgame, it was kind of interesting to me when asked about, do you kind of just throw this one away and forget about it. He started by saying, actually, it's funny, I was just talking to the guys about this. I don't know if that means that he was, talking to the team, kind of addressing everybody. But his point, and this is a quote, is at the end of the day, you soak in a loss like this, it could pile into 6 losses in a row. So for him personally, when you walk out the building, I'm not thinking about this game again. I think it's to each their own on a subject like that. But for me personally, once I walk out here, I mean, we have another game tomorrow. We're playing against a good Orlando team. So what am I thinking about this game for? But he started with saying, it's funny, I was just talking about this.
Right.
So I don't think there's no leadership, but there's definitely moments where it could probably be used a bit more.
And a lot of it to me is like the urgency. Like there's no sense of urgency in a lot of these games at the beginning. I mean, you look at most notably, I mean, Memphis was an outlier because the Kings kind of just, they beat the brakes off them the whole time. But Atlanta, you fall behind early. Portland, you fall behind early. Charlotte, there's just no clear energy. And again, like the crowd, it was very eerie being in the building last night, seeing a sold out crowd. And it's not the crowd's fault at all. It just, there was no reason for that crowd to get energized. Like I can't really remember one notable big play from the game last night. There was nothing. I mean, I think De'Aaron had an AM1 late in the game that kind of injected some energy, and then also Davion. But when you have no sense of urgency against some of these teams that are on the lower end of the NBA scale, it's very notable. And it's very notable, especially for other teams, because they jump on you. And the Kings have been really falling into these holes often. And I think that maybe, I don't look at it as much of a leadership thing, because I think there are guys that are strong, outspoken voices in that locker room. And again, the Kings have a very good coaching staff with guys that are very outspoken, like Jordy Fernandez. You have Mike Brown, obviously. You have Jay Triano, who's been around the NBA for a very long time. That's the coaches just by themselves. But again, Domas has been outspoken. I think Malik last night, obviously there were some things that were going on that were, they pop up over the course of any season in any sport for a team. Not everyone's going to see eye to eye all the time, but that doesn't mean there's a rift or anything like that. I just think that means there are things to work on. And the Kings obviously are not a perfect product. And I think as far as leadership goes, everyone could probably do a little bit more, but I don't think there's a lack of leadership. I don't really view that as a problem. I view urgency and falling behind early in these games are not able to kind of, make it the proper adjustments when you need them most. And the Kings did not make any adjustments. It felt like it was a 5 to 3 point game the entire night. It really just never felt like anything changed. It felt like we were watching the same thing over and over and over. And that's kind of what I'm looking at more.
Interesting. I mean, and I wonder too, I mean, do you guys feel like, I mean, it's not really something that typically you would look for in like a trade, but like, I mean, do you feel like that leadership role that Mike Brown's talking about from the internal side, do you think it has to be somebody who's actually a part of the rotation? Because that's something me and Alan have gone not back and forth on. I think we both kind of agree. It just hits a little bit different when it's somebody who's like actually playing 20 minutes and like is impacting the game. It's nice to have those, Udonis Haslem and, Andre Iguodala guys, but it feels like this team specifically would just respond a lot better to somebody who's actually in the fire with them and saying like, it doesn't feel like the energy we're giving right now is the necessary energy.
Yeah, I do think that's the case. Like, it helps to have those guys at the end of the bench. Like Juan Toscano-Anderson was not shy when he first got here, that like sometimes it goes beyond what you do on the court when he was brought in, that like he's a great locker room guy and he can echo the coaching staff. You look at JaVale McGee, I think that kind of fits the same thing, even though obviously he's more in the rotation than JTA would be, but it can't be Corey Joseph. Like it has to, in my mind, also be coming from some of these higher up guys. And, even when that's like Harrison Barnes, who I don't know how vocal he is to his teammates necessarily, but obviously a great lead by example. Like he seems like more of a pull you to the side and give you advice rather than rah, get the whole team together. Yeah. Tell you maybe the
invest.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Got to get to a break. When we get back, we do have the trades. We see you on the line, Ken. I also want to bring up JTA. Because is it time to maybe, if you're losing to the Charlotte Hornets, anybody can get some runs. Stiles and Watkins and the Sactown Sports Kings Insiders coming up next.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sactown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sactown Sports app.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
I lock up my Old Spice Fiji aluminum-free dry spray to keep that 24/7 lasting freshness safe for myself. Fresh coconuts, palm trees in the wind. It's like catching waves in Fiji. Actually, I just talked myself into a refreshing spritz of Fiji. My Old Spice is missing! No!
If you're looking to get a new car, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive. Sure, you love your old car, but you know it's not normal to give instructions on how to open the window. It should be self-explanatory, but it's not. And notice how when you're in other people's cars, you can feel cushion in the seats? That's pretty nice, right? No, it's just normal. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and put the savings toward a new car. It's time. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair, Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your home for the Oakland A's every weekend.
And it's swung on line to left center, base hit, and the A's have won it on a walk-off line drive, base hit to left center.
Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking up to 2 p.m. A couple more segments with our guys, the Sactown Sports Kings insiders, Brendan Nunez and Frankie Cardicelli, also known as Franco Cardo.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Heard that one before.
Rap name.
Well, I called you that on accident, and then I found out it's actually your nickname.
People call me like both separately, not ever in unison. But
somebody on the Sac chat always calls you that.
Franco Cardo.
That's because that's what.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you called him the first time he was on.
Oh, that's true.
Cardo.
So I started it.
Yeah, you started it.
Wow.
Cardo's definitely a nickname.
There you go. It's just so many. There's just so many things.
There's such
It's a funny name.
There you go. All righty. 916-339-1140. Before we get into
Stop.
the trade machines. Before we get into the trade machine, all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Let's get out to Ken, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Ken? You're on with Stiles and Watkins and the Sactown Sports Kings Insiders. What you got for us?
Hey, what it do, gentlemen? How you doing this afternoon?
Good, man. What you got?
Hey, I wasn't for sure how I was going to start it off, man, but I started sitting here thinking about what y'all was saying, man. Listen, man. The best motivator, man, is self-motivation. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Self-motivation. Hey, these cats come from different colleges, different coaches, different teams. You've been motivated, man, over the years, man, by different minds. You know what I'm saying? Different coaches, different mentors. So you talk about this team, man. Our team is built, man, we are a motivated team to win.
Mm-hmm.
Every night we go out on that floor, man, we are motivated to win. I guarantee you that. I'm in close proximity of everything that's happening.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I hear everything. I hear the team talking amongst each other. So motivation isn't a factor here.
Right.
What is a factor here is focus. You see, we have to have a focus, man, during the whole game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Last night we lost focus in the last 2 minutes because we wouldn't be talking like this today if we didn't lose focus. Am I correct, gentlemen? Because we would have probably more than likely pulled the win out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We let them go up because we had some, Dumbo turnovers at the end of the game. You know what I'm saying? That should be happening. But motivation should already be there. So I'm not even going to include that in the equation. My equation is Monk has proven his point as the sixth man this year. Sabonis and Fox has proven themselves as all-stars. So, but we don't have nobody, that third player that we could depend on to take that pressure off Sabonis and take that pressure off Fox.
Right.
The ball is in Sabonis' hands in Fox's majority of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So Sabonis more likely going to have some turnovers. Last night it was just, funny style. But we need another player on our roster. I don't know who you're going to say the trade is. I'm not going to speculate because I was going to speak on a couple players, but I'm not going to bad talk today because I feel good. I'm going to listen to who your trade pick is. But I think we just need another player to solidify our roster as far as being a motivating factor as how we game play.
Thanks for the call. Ken. Yeah, I mean, who I have is not a star guy because I wanted to go a little bit outside the box, right?
Okay.
So I have all that. And as far as the focus is concerned, look, I don't think that Coach Mike Brown needs to go in there and throw chairs. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I don't know. I'm saying that you can't continue to lose these games that you really do need to win. We rattled off some of these games that are upcoming. You got to go to Philly, have a cheesesteak. Maybe Draper will be there. You got to go to Milwaukee, okay? The Phoenix at some point, they're going to maybe figure it out at some point. So these are the types of games that you have to deal with. And as Frankie kind of spoke about in the second half, you were in the midst of the softest part of your schedule, and you're tricking off games, right? So I'll do mine because honestly, this text that came through is going to be more fun.
Maniacal.
So this is what I came up with. I don't know if you're allowed to just add the money because what I have here, this is a guy who isn't getting a lot of time right now. He shoots 44% from three right now this season, and he will bring that grit that you're looking for. And I'm sitting here. I don't know if he would be inserted into the starting lineup. You might hate this, okay? So Harrison's at $17 million. This guy's at 17.1. So I don't know if you can just add the cash considerations or if you have to add another player. But come on down, speaking of Philly, Marcus Morris Sr. for Harrison Barnes straight up.
Man, I was expecting so much more with that tease.
I told you. Why
are you doing that?
No. Because I have another tease. Don't worry.
Listen, I liked Mook. Okay.
Oh yeah. It's like that.
We're on that basis.
Oh, it's like that.
Main basis. Okay.
He slowed down a lot, man.
I'm
like
just saying,
more
it's a
extreme
loaded
than
team.
Harrison Barnes.
Is he 35 years old?
Yeah,
I think he's just worse than Harrison Barnes right now.
Okay.
And probably like it's a different type of leadership.
Wait, is he making
motivating?
He's making 17
He's making
million.
17
And he's playing like
million
6 minutes.
dollars?
Yes. Doll hairs.
Yes.
No, thank you.
For what it's worth, the
All
trade was successful.
I know it was. I ran it myself.
It went through.
Yeah.
It went through. Can I ask?
All right.
Can I
It's a
ask?
tough sell
Is
for
it
me.
because of like
Very.
you think the Kings need more grit? Is that what it is? Like, or more like a
dog.
yeah? Is that like? Is
Looking
it?
to add to the dog
Yeah,
segment?
look, he's not somebody that you are going to not think played. You're not going to be looking at Harrison's or you're not going to be looking at Morris's numbers thinking, man, what did he do tonight? He will make his presence known, maybe for better or for worse. I don't know. Maybe there's a reason he's not getting any burn, but the 76ers are kind of rolling right now themselves. They got Tobias Harris. They got a lot of guys.
Did Drapes send you this trade?
No. All right, let's get to this other one because I don't want to hear.
I'm still hung up on the fact that he's making 17 million.
$17 million is insane.
He must be expired.
That's more
It
than
is expired.
Okay, yeah.
Kevin Huerter and Harrison Barnes in the same area.
Real quick, did you guys see the Kings got moved to primetime against Philly?
Yes,
Yeah.
January
Yeah.
12th.
Yeah.
And Chris was
Not
very
excited.
happy about
Not
that.
excited.
Could be a bad
Very
thing.
happy
Could
about
be a
No,
very
it's going
bad
to be a
thing.
very bad thing.
The Kings are going to cook on national television.
Get
Tyrese
cooked.
Maxey, you got nothing on Fox.
ESPN.
On ESPN.
On ESPN.
All right, here we go. From the 916, this is a separate one.
So
The
this is
only-
not the one. This is
just a joke from the
Oh,
916.
okay.
The only energy in that arena last night was when they were throwing out the free mini basketballs.
My brother caught one of those actually. So
Really?
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, at least you got something out of
We
it.
got something out of that
Yeah.
game. I'm home with something.
They gave away some free pizzas too, little personal pizzas. I've never seen them
yeah.
do that.
I was mad why I didn't get a
really?
crumble cookie when they fell down.
Oh yeah, no.
I was
Oh
because
yeah.
I was
yeah.
on the second level. I couldn't reach, and
Oh,
I want a cookie.
I also don't think the fan base has gotten like free crumble in
been
a
a
while.
while. It's been a
I've
real
been like
while.
watching because
Tonight's
I
the
told
night.
somebody I'd
Hey,
send it.
they
to
should
them,
start
and
giving
that
out when the
doesn't
Kings shoot free throws.
That's what we said this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be a conflict of
Tough.
interest there. Here we go. This is from the 916. This was 30 minutes ago, right when we started out with this Kings roundtable. When we said, "Oh, we can hang out in the 4 and 6 seed and be okay." 4 and 6. Don't be delusional. Without a major move that involves trading Murray, they might not make the play-in. They did nothing to improve in the offseason and don't have the personnel to defend competently. Get Markkanen. Many teams were injury played last season. Not so much this season. Keegan Murray?
Spicy.
I will say this.
Go ahead.
All I'll say is that I would at least kick tires on I wouldn't say Keegan's untouchable, but I'm not going to sell him for anything less than I think he's worth. I'm Masai Ujiri.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
For sure.
But he's not untouchable to me. Chris?
No, I agree. I agree with that. I think that there is moves out there that, you know, if Giannis Antetokounmpo is on the table, like, I'm not going to say, no, you can't have Keegan Murray. I'm going to continue to say, like, if you're going to move on from Keegan, you just have to make sure it's like 100% the most obvious move possible, because I just don't think it makes sense to escalate the timeline just because you're impatient and want to win this season. I think that a lot of people are a little bit too focused on, okay, the West is open right here, right now. Let's hop on.
Let's go.
Well, okay, how about like 3 or 4 years down the line when the Kings are then like really hamstrung and
already have a couple parades by then, though.
Sure. I mean, but that's not a guarantee. That's not even close to a guarantee. And then how good is a like De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, Lauri Markkanen team? Like that. I mean, that just doesn't sound like a championship winning team to me. And, you know, I just don't think that you should cash out on Keegan Murray right now for the sake of trying to win this year, because I still think that there's a world where in 4 or 5 years, Keegan's better than Lauri Markkanen. And I don't know why you would want to give up on it just because, again, you were impatient. And I think it's a different conversation than the Halliburton one. Like, the Kings were a bad team and needed to flip things around immediately. So they had to get as many solid, actual, right here, right now, winnable players. I think right now the Kings are in a nice spot where Keegan's their only real developmental piece that could take them to another level. I wouldn't cash in on that unless you can guarantee the person you're trading for is going to put you at that level.
I'm with that. I think this is a process. Like, Denver, 17-18 misses the playoffs by 1 game. I think it's Minnesota, right? And then 18-19, Western Conference semis. 19-20, Western Conference finals. That was like a big outlier year in the 2 teams that they played. And then you go back to the semis. Then you go to the first round or first round. And then you end up winning the finals. Like, this is a slow process. You know what I mean?
Tell that to the fan base, though.
No, for sure. And I get the frustration, but like, you kind of, a lot of teams sit where you at for a little while before you find the appropriate move to take that jump.
So Sabonis is going to be 32 and De'Aaron is going to be 31. And that's when the Kings will have a chance at it.
I mean, by then they should be. Yeah, I mean, that's the end of their prime.
Edwards and Shea, by then they'll be the new faces of the league.
I mean, ideally they'll be just kind of starting to be there. And I mean, De'Aaron at 31 is like, ideally that's like right in his prime. And that's when he really should be in his championship window.
Okay.
Like, the championship window, if you look, it's really, a lot of people end up winning their first championship at like 26, 27. And then that window closes by the time you're 31, 32 as like the best player on the team. So like, I kind of view it as, De'Aaron and Domas are just kind of just now starting to enter that potential of a championship window. So I don't think that there's really a rush to get it done. I don't think there should be a rush to get it done.
I just am of the idea that there are ways to upgrade the roster to put the Kings in the championship contention without trading Keegan. I think that there are ways to do that. I think that there are players out there that we haven't even talked about.
Season.
Maybe not the season, no. But I think there are players like right now that the Kings could trade for that you don't have to include Keegan. Like, I was talking with like a couple of guys out there in the bullpen out there about how Malcolm Brogdon's a guy I wouldn't be upset if the Kings were after him. There are some other guys do they go back to revisit the Jeremy Grant discussion? I mean, I don't know how much better that makes the Kings. Kuzma,
right?
Like, Detroit could be selling some guys. Isaiah Stewart, I think, would be a nice fit for a backup center or even play next to Sabonis sometimes. There are players out there that could certainly make an impact now. Caruso, a guy, if Chicago drops the asking price. We don't know what's going to happen over the next 4 weeks, but all I know is the Kings have made that big move. They traded Tyrese Halliburton, who was young, had control, was blossoming, for a proven star, Sabonis, or all-star in Sabonis. You have Keegan Murray, who has had a couple of bad games, but had a very good month of December, a great month of December, and is playing well this year overall. I don't think it's time to hit that break glass in case of emergency button and trade away your other promising young player with years and years of control. I just think we don't know what's going to happen next year or two. And right now the Kings, again, I know that the losses have been horrible, but they're 19-13. They're in the same spot they were last year, which at that point we were over the moon. And there are players that can be available that will not cost an arm and a leg.
People are comparing Keegan Murray to maybe, hey, last season Scotty Barnes had a slower season, and now this season, in his 3rd season, is starting to really flourish, that 3rd season leap, and it's called the sophomore slump for a reason. So you don't want to sell out on Keegan, and then he ends up having that leap, and then you got 2 of them out in the wild, and nobody wants that. All right, we got one more segment with the guys. Get your texts in, get your questions in. We see a couple about some potential other moves on the Sack Chat, so we will get to those, continuing to have the conversation about the state of the Kings and what they do next. Stiles Watkins, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sactown Sports.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
You check the front door? My package is here.
Yeah, on it. Hey, are we still watching our show tonight?
New episode on Prime? You bet. That reminds me, let's hit Whole Foods this afternoon. We need snack supplies.
From package deliveries to entertainment and even fresh groceries, Amazon is in front of thousands of customers every single day. Learn how you can leverage their reach for your business. Text digital to 916-766-5105 now. Make the smart move. Text digital to 916-766-5105.
Sactown Sports.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m., joined by our Sactown Sports Kings insiders, Brendan Nunez and Frankie Cardicelli, having a conversation about a spicy text message here on the text line, 916-339-1140. If you want to be a part of the conversation, saying it's time to move Keegan. Now, like I said, I'm not saying Keegan's untouchable, but I'm not moving him for Lauri Markkanen. I don't know who I'm moving Keegan for, but it ain't Lauri Markkanen. I can tell you that much right now.
Right.
Yeah, he's not untouchable. Like we talked about last week, I think there are very few players in the NBA that are untouchable.
Truly.
But again, what Keegan has shown when he's on, and last night, like games like that are frustrating when he's not able to help out. We talked about the Kings need a guy that can help out Fox and Sabonis when no one else is stepping up, and Keegan is supposed to be that third option.
Yeah.
It's frustrating, but we've seen what he looks like when he can, and he's done so, I think, more so than not over the past month. I just think that the age he is and the controllable, like as far as him being a restricted free agent, I just feel like that's a guy you might want to hang on to, and you can try to upgrade the roster other ways. I mean, you have the assets, you have the draft capital, you have contracts like Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter, but again, on the Barnes case more than Huerter, you're probably need to attach some of those picks to get him off, to get whatever trade you want done. But I think that trading Keegan would take Markkanen and maybe a little bit more. I mean, if the Jazz are being stingy about the asking price for Markkanen the same way that Chicago is being stingy about the asking price for DeRozan or Levine or their players, yeah, the Kings should feel stingy about the asking price for Keegan Murray too, because he has proven he can be a two-way player. Like he's doing it right now. He is making those strides right now. He just needs to be more consistent with it.
We said earlier in the show that this might be more the caterpillar phase for Keegan Murray, and we're hoping next year and the years to come, he becomes that butterfly. On the 916 on the text line, essentially saying you guys are talking as if Murray is a guarantee. There's no guarantee. That's why you get the proven player. You're not wrong, but I'm saying Lauri Markkanen is not my proven player.
Yeah.
That's just not it for me. Maybe for certain people out there like the other 916, the other texter, but for me, I don't know who that person is. Chris joked about Giannis. I would take the proven player, but it's not going to be Lauri Markkanen.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Frankie actually brings up something I haven't heard anyone bring up when it comes to the Keegan Murray, and it's the fact that he's on a rookie scale deal too. Like you get the team control and you get to pay him probably less than what his actual market value is. Like, why would you sub that? I mean, and that's a tough thing about the Tyrese thing is now the Pacers are going to have that franchise. I almost called him quarterback, franchise point guard for the next, essentially
pretty much
for the next 6 or 7 years. And they're going to be paying him. What De'Aaron Fox is going to be making $55 million or something like that. Tyrese
not supermax money, right? I mean, the money he was able to get for his rookie scale contract, if I'm not mistaken, right? He's not making $60 million like Damian Lillard's, and if Fox signs in their contract, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's another thing when you have to think about moving on from Keegan Murray. It's like, well, you got to consider Keegan's going to probably be at a discounted rate. And if you're trading him for a proven guy, you're paying for all that. And while it's not any of our money, I mean, it is, especially with the new aprons as well. I mean, the new tax aprons in the NBA with the new CBA, you really can't be paying more than 2.5 people, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that is what we know, all of the issues some other teams are dealing with, and the Kings want to stay away from that while all and improving. So you guys are more, I guess, for lack of a better term, realistic when it comes to the Kings. So at what point would the season be a failure? Would it just simply be the obvious ones? If they go to the first round again and then they lose again, is that just, hey, they didn't make any moves, they decided to run it back, fine. Now, Monty McNair, now you're on the clock. Now going into this season, you got to make some moves. Assuming they don't do anything, right? Would that be considered a failure or a success? Or is it just literally still honeymoon phase? You go to the playoffs again twice in a row after missing for 16 years. Hey, I'll take it. Just get in the dance and give yourself a shot. And you never know. They've beat some good teams. Like what is the line of success and failure?
I think anything less than a first round win is advancing to the second round. Anything less than that to me is a failure. I think that this team.
I don't know where this process.
Well, that's what I mean.
Process.
Well, that's what I mean. Like you want to advance. Like Brendan was pointing out with Denver. Like at least they were advancing and they hit a little rut, and then they made the Aaron Gordon trade, and that was kind of the move that put them over the edge. I mean, was he the entire reason they won the finals? No, but that was the component they needed to bring attention off of Jokic, or you have KCP, who was a guy that could knock down shots for you. They had the right formula, and the Kings are now kind of trying to find what works. That's why they're doing this shuffling around with Duarte and Herter and guys are in and out of the rotation. They're trying to find their rhythm and the right combination of guys to get them to maximize their potential. And I feel like, to me, if we're gauging what is a success or failure of a year, and Brendan, I'm not sure if you feel the same way, but I feel like a first round exit, that's going to be a failure.
I'm fine with a first round appearance. Like
I'm there too. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to be there, but that's just kind of where I'm at.
As long as there's not negative progress from last year, and I could just justify it to the same thing I said earlier, that they didn't feel like there was a move to go and take that next jump. Like you have everybody locked up except Malik Monk. And so if you're getting more playoff experience, then that's valuable. So I think as long as there's not negative progress kind of floating around this same range is honestly kind of fine to me. Like we've seen this progress from De'Aaron. We've seen progress from Keegan. I know the shots aren't going down, but he's maybe their best defender. When last year, I don't think defense was a strong suit for him much at all. And like we've seen those two things be really notable progress. If you have the best player, or if you have a player good enough to be the best player on a championship team, like I now think De'Aaron is, like even if you have a first round exit, that makes it a successful season in my mind. And progress from Keegan makes it a successful season. You know what I mean? Yeah. As long as you are making that first round, like I would say failure to me is playing, not making the postseason.
And I would also say that like a first round appearance, but first round exit probably lives in that in between fence sitting zone of like, it's definitely not success, but I don't know if I would categorize it as a actual failure. I mean, depending also on how that series goes.
You can't get killed.
If they get swept or
a sweep
4-1 or something.
If it was a Warriors style first round exit, I think I would maybe like ease off and like, oh, is it a failure? If they go 7 against like the Thunder. Right. If it's a 2 versus 7 seed matchup and the Kings lose the Thunder in 7, I'm just like, okay, that was a hard fought series against a team that maybe could win it all. I think fans are kind of moving on to the what's next thing. Like, oh, the drought's over. Well, now there's a drought of the Kings. They haven't won a playoff series in 16 years, beyond 2006. So it's like, that's just the next thing to me. And I feel like this team is good enough. I feel like this team is good enough to say they haven't won a playoff series since 04.
Right when you said that, I was like,
so I guess that's the last. It's been 20 years now at this point. Yeah.
I don't know, Frankie. I don't know.
I think it's just why. I think the question for all this, for the what's success or failure, the trades, all that is just what are you hoping to get out of this year? And like, does it actually have to be a tangible move forward? Like, do you have to move on to the second round? What is, I mean, and honestly, this is kind of, Monty McNair would be nice if we can get a state of the state or something like that. What was his goal for this season? Like, what did he realistically see this team getting out of this year when it comes to actual success? What does success look like for Monty McNair? I think as fans, everyone has their own definition, but at the end of the day, whatever it really depends on where the team is on their own timeline and if they feel like they're still on track with where they want to be going. And I don't think we know that answer.
And that's why it's frustrating too, as far as he did stick with the same group as like a hope to, okay, let's see if this group can maximize their potential. But like we're pointing out, they're the same spot they were last year. That's kind of a frustrating thing because they're going to be in the same position at the deadline then too. It's like, should they buy or should they not?
Right.
And Monty might be in the same position as far as being protective over these guys because again, they're a very close group, but at a certain point, when does that not matter as much as the result, because if they do fall short and if they do, you say worst case scenario, they make the play-in but lose the play-in, where does that put this group if they don't make any moves, or they make like a Kessler Edwards type move at the deadline like last year? They don't make a big type addition. Like, that's a frustrating part, because again, they are a good team, but they're in a very similar spot to last year. And that was a problem at the deadline because there was no clear direction to go.
Yeah. And let's not forget, I'm just looking here at the Western Conference. I mean, right now at the 4-5, you're dealing with the Clippers. So I think that's
no thanks.
I think the problem is the state of the West right now. And that will force you to think, okay, do I want to just say Nuggets, you go on? And let's not forget, we were talking about the Nuggets. Let's not forget that Jamal Murray went out that year after the bubble. Coming back, I thought that they could really do some things, and he goes and tears his ACL. So then that season was a lost cause. And then they came back and Jamal Murray healthy, and they do the dang thing. So I'm looking, okay, fine. Nuggets, it's your time. Clippers, it's your time. We're going to sit here. We're going to get ready to battle with the Thunder for the next couple of years, with the Timberwolves for the next couple of years, and whoever else might pop up. So a couple different ways to look at it at that point. The Lakers and Warriors, I mean, Steph and Clay, they might be done, or Steph and Clay and LeBron might be done. The Suns as well. Who knows what's going to happen to the Suns? So it's not panic time, but it is one of those situations where you don't want to end up in purgatory. And the question is, how long will people just be happy with being there? Thank you so much, Brendan Nunez and Frankie Cardicelli. You guys do a great job as always. I will see you tonight at the game.
You'll be there.
I'll be there tonight.
Okay.
So it's an official game because I'll be there.
Ready for dinner.
Tonight. I will always be ready for dinner.
Gourmet buffet.
Some oatmeal cookies because I heard they didn't have any.
No.
They didn't have any last night. So they'll know I'll be there. So they'll have some for me.
Maybe that's why they lost.
Exactly. I will be in the building. Don't worry. And be sure to hop on SactownSports.com. Our guys doing great work, Frankie and Brendan. Go check out their pieces. They're always dropping new content. And follow them on social media. Follow them on X. Follow them on Twitter. They got all the stats that a lot of times Chris and I read and go over when we are doing our show. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game and high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game, offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Yep, that trailer hitch and folding bed cover from TruckSmart makes road trips a breeze.
Right? I'm so much more organized on the job site since TruckSmart installed my truck rack and toolbox.
And they had it all in stock, so I just waited as they installed everything.
Take a look at this sweet Rhino truck lining. They sprayed it on.
Yeah, you win. That is sweet.
Truck Smart, truck and SUV accessories for on the road and the job site. Stop by one of our 2 locations in Rockland or Auburn. TruckSmart.com. Your truck's gonna love them.
As we come together to celebrate the end of this long year, Stockton Honda has savings to bring us all cheer. Happy Honda Day savings and selection galore. Stockton Honda's online express purchase and great people give you more.
Save on 400 new Hondas at Stockton Honda during Happy Honda Days. Shop in person or online with our express purchase option.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Sacramento's premier music festival, Country in the Park, is back. 2 big old nights, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo with Brantley Gilbert, Dustin Lynch, Walker Hayes, and more. 2-day GA tickets are on sale now starting at $85 or upgrade your experience with VIP or pit passes. Country in the Park, May 17th and 18th at Cal Expo. For more information, visit CITVFest.com. Brought to you by Bonnie Plumbing, Electric Heating and Air.
Got a drain that's clogged up? Or maybe a toilet? Or a faucet that just won't quit leaking? Kenny and Jerry here from Bell Brothers, and we want you to know that it does make a difference which plumber you call.
At Bell Brothers, we respect your time by showing up when we say we'll be there. Our technicians are all background checked and drug tested and will greet you with a smile.
They're trained to do the job right the first time, and they carry over 1,000 parts on their trucks, so they won't have to order something and then come back later.
They leave the work area cleaner than they found it, and your final bill will be the same as they quoted. That's why they call us the No Surprise Guys.
So if you need a plumber, it does make a difference who you call. Call Bell Brothers. Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com. That's 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
California's largest sportsman's expo is back, January 18th at Cal Expo in Sacramento. Get $3 off coupons at Big O Tires and O'Reilly Auto Parts stores. Get to the action in Toyota's all-new Tacoma. Visit sportsexpos.com for locations, seminars, and show info. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman's Expo, January 18th through 21st at Cal Expo in Sacramento. More info at sportsexpos.com.
Live and local. Live and local. This is Sactown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports. 30 more minutes with you, taking you to 2 p.m. Before the drive, guys, get you ready for Kings Magic. Thank you again to our Sactown Sports Kings insiders, Frankie Cardicelli and Brendan Nunez. Thank you to Nate. Feel like we haven't shouted out Nate enough today. Nate Littlefield doing his thing as always. And we have some more news. You have Fred Warner saying he expects to play the whole game unless he's told otherwise, which is probably the most important part of that quote.
Same thing with Debo. That's the exact same situation, right?
Yeah, and Fred Warner, his quote here, you can't tiptoe out there. The way you get hurt is if you go out there with the wrong mindset and you go half speed and yada, yada, yada. So, yeah, I mean, I think we all get – is that the only sport you can't play halfway, football?
Rugby as a
yeah, I mean, you can't half tackle someone, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's all just super physical.
Could you make the argument Tyler Lockett plays halfway? He just falls in front of people. He just falls. He never gets tackled.
Explain it playing halfway in basketball then, because I don't feel like you can.
What the Kings did last night.
Yeah, it's just what Harrison Barnes does.
Yo.
I'm not going to touch that. I'm just going to say what it is. What being lazy in basketball would just be. I mean, really, it's like not paying attention to your rotations. It's losing your man defensively. It's lazy passes. It's, just not cutting. It's standing in a corner and just trying to do ISO ball. Really,
so
that's lazy.
Equivalent in the NFL is what? Missing tackles, not running routes.
Lazy,
you
but
can't
to
be.
me,
You just can't be lazy in the NFL. I'm telling you.
But there's a difference between lazy and going through the motions.
Yeah.
Like I think lazy.
I think it's the same though. I think it ends up being the same product.
No, I think when
or same result.
Like to me, when you say, "Oh, playing halfway or whatever," like in basketball, we see it's kind of like what you're saying, but we see the memes and stuff of like a guy just like half trying and just shooting. It's not really possible to do that in football because you have to tackle someone.
Yeah, and you're trying to run away for your life.
Right. You can't half run.
Yeah, you're not
half run.
You're not just going to be like, oh, this guy's here. I'm just going to kind of like, leap into him, into his arms just a little. So
running out of bounds. Just running out of bounds.
Randy Moss did this with the Patriots.
You're still running at full speed.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not like, I mean, Randy Moss when he was on the Raiders, I mean, I guess as a receiver, you can say, yeah, receivers may be the only position on the field because you can just run your routes really lazy and you won't get thrown the ball. And so like in that sense you could, but if you're a lineman, an offensive lineman, you're going to allow tons of pressures. If you're a defensive lineman, you're going to allow tons of runs through your gap, or you're just going to be seen leaning into the offensive guy. As a running back, again, you're running for your life already. That's not the right time to not be giving it full effort. I just don't think it's possible in football. And then plus, like, there's just dudes who are trying to block you, take out your legs. Like, you have to keep your head on a swivel at all times and just keep your focus on 100. Like,
somebody
I
that
don't see it.
Somebody that just got pulled up from the practice squad trying to prove. Everybody's trying to prove
everything.
Something at all times. So, yeah, my guess is that you get the guys out of there. I don't know when. I don't know if they will play at all. There's really no reason to. I don't think the reps are necessarily worth it at this point in time. So we will keep you up to date on all that injury report, or I guess just playing report, not necessarily
it's not
injury.
even really. Yeah.
I will add there's a potential website where you could, maybe put money on teams or whatever, sports, and they're not letting you throw any money on Rams Niners.
It's about that time.
So it's
about that time.
It's up in the air.
Yep. It's about that time of the season. Had a good run. You can get right back for playoffs. So don't even worry about it. Just take a week off and enjoy your kids. Go play catch with your kids and do some good stuff.
Real quick here. Mm-hmm. Sorry. I wonder if it's the same thing. Frankie just tweeted out the injury report for the Kings. No players listed on the injury report.
I feel like this is bad. They keep losing when they're all fully healthy.
Oh, man.
Somebody just take a night off.
Kerrigan, somebody.
Yeah, somebody just take a night off. All I was going to say is that the Hawks, this is from Woj, the Hawks are absolutely open for business on trades.
Okay.
GM Landry Fields seems determined to make changes to that roster with the picture. The picture is with DeJounte Murray.
That's interesting. I mean, there is a Kings-Hawks connection. Wes Wilcox, their assistant GM, is someone who spent a lot of time in Atlanta. And as we know, the Kings acquired Kevin Huerter from Atlanta. So that's been an open line of communication. And I don't know, that's super interesting. And I wonder if maybe there can be some communication had there to get the Kings protection removed from this year's pick. That'd be nice.
There you go. All right, dog time. Time for your dog of the game, sponsored by no one quite yet, but could be you. Hit up Scott Marsh. I don't have his number memorized like Carmichael Dave, but I will get it. Or call in 916-339-1140 on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline if you want to sponsor
Mug
the
Root
dog.
Beer. That's a good sponsor. It's got a dog on it.
There's a lot you could use.
I'll take
there,
anything.
Nate,
yeah,
I'll do anything.
Well, not since you
Don't
have
pigeonhole
so much,
us, okay?
Since you have so much to say,
Just some
Nate,
ideas.
Why don't you start off with your dog of the game? Let's get him in on the Sack Chat. Let's get him in on the text line as well. Nate, who you got?
Last game, I picked Trey Lyles.
I heard JaVale McGee, but
Yeah. Oh, that was for the Memphis. That dude, he's fun to pick. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I'll pick another big. Let's go Alex Len. Just
Yeah.
the second night of back to back.
Yeah.
Who
Might be
cares?
some
My
new
parents
bodies.
will be in the building.
Hey.
sure, they
So-
love Alex Len.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Tell him come by, say hello.
I will.
To
You
you.
want to meet my parents?
Yeah,
Okay. I'll introduce them.
great
to
with parents.
Great. Well, and kids too.
Kids do.
Great. He's a great guy.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Anyways, Alex Len.
Alex Lynn. Okay.
Okay.
CK916 on the Sack Chat says, are we really doing a dog segment again on the second of a back-to-back? Have we not learned our lesson yet? No, we haven't, CK, because they're going to – actually, this doesn't even count. This doesn't even count because they lost last night.
Oh, so we don't do?
No, we're doing the dog, but it doesn't count as a back-to-back win. Their first back – they still haven't won a back-to-back all season. So it's different, CK916, because they lost last night.
I am trying to think of I almost feel like you with Kevin Huerter. I really want to take Harrison Barnes, but I just shouldn't. There's no reason to do it. It would just be so that I could say, look how right I am. I just don't believe it's.
I heard he's taking the night off.
It wouldn't surprise me. He always does. Let's go with Keegan, man. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got a big matchup tonight. We were talking with Wendell earlier, and he mentioned the Magic forwards have been incredible. I mean, Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner are two of the best young forwards in the NBA. Keegan's kind of should be in the list, and I know Keegan's not the type of dude to do this, but I would like to see him see those two guys and say, I feel like I'm at that level. I feel like Paolo Banchero and I are from the same draft. I think Keegan's a couple years older than Paolo. I would love to see Keegan kind of take that matchup personally. I mean, all the time, people always talk about how many times do I have to hear receiver X list the 10 receivers who were taken in front of him, and he's got it at his locker room. Keegan's definitely not that kind of guy, but nonetheless, Paolo's someone who was taken in front of him. Same draft class. Keegan had a good rookie year. Paolo obviously won Rookie of the Year. I'd like Keegan to try to take this matchup a little bit personal.
Well, I think that's a good one. So you have Keegan
Murray,
and Nate has Alex Len. I'm actually going to go with Malik Monk. Which I went
Bounce
with
back.
Malik Monk last game against Charlotte.
Sure.
But I'm not giving up on Malik. I think that there was a little bit, he had a little bit too much dip on his chip last night.
Doing a little too much.
Yeah, that turnaround, I will never forget that three.
It's a lot.
Because
it was like the first thing he did, too.
anyone not named Steph Curry or Dame Lillard gets benched.
Yeah.
I mean benched. LeBron, three players.
Mm-hmm.
I think De'Aaron might even get benched.
Giannis.
I would look around.
Giannis would get benched.
Giannis is getting benched.
That was insanity in front of the bench too.
Yes.
That's how you knew it was
He was
on
trying to flex.
purpose.
Yeah, he was trying to flex on him.
It was on purpose, but I think Malik bounces back tonight in the second half of a back-to-back, and they will get this W. I think they get this W. All right, we got to get to a break. I'm seeing on the text line from the 916, can you guys speak on the Kings having the worst free throw percentage in the league? We did that 916. That was around, if I'm not mistaken, about 11:45. So you can rewind here on the YouTube chat if you want to check it out, or find Hour 2 on the Sactown Sports app.
Just put it up. Hour 2 is up.
Hour 2 is up, 916, so you can check that out. Because, we had a lot to say about the Kings' free throws, if you want to even call it that. More like the most expensive throws that we've ever seen. Somebody take the cover off the basket, please. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, David Tepper found himself in trouble. He was fined. And if you are not watching on YouTube, I am doing fined in air quotes.
Oh
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis. Put the frosting on the cake. Put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how an injury can turn anyone's life upside down. Whether it's a slip and fall, a car accident, or any other kind of injury. For almost 50 years, the Arnold Law Firm has been here to help you through the entire process to protect you and your family. If you are ever injured or in an accident, call the Arnold Law Firm. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777. That's 916-777-7777.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
So here's a fact. 85% of the population will suffer from foot pain in their lifetime. That's almost everyone. So you'd think there'd be plenty of healthy long-term remedies, but there just aren't, right? Hi, I'm Dan from the Good Feet store. You know, people come in all the time sharing the same frustrating story. Bought this, tried that, been there, done whatever, all different kinds of things, but all with a similar result. Nothing. A discouraging and endless cycle of disappointment. If this rings a bell, don't despair. There is hope. If you think you've tried everything, you probably haven't tried Good Feet arch supports from the Good Feet store. They're designed to relieve, even eliminate, the pain commonly caused by certain foot conditions like plantar fasciitis, bunions, flat feet, and others. Plus, provide better balance and increased comfort. See what we can do for you with a free arch support fitting. Just stop in or schedule an appointment. With over 200 stores, there's likely one in your neck of the woods. Find yours at goodfeet.com.
Knee, foot, or back pain? Visit the Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Sactown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sactown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports, 15 more minutes with you. Thank you for listening. If you've been listening, if you're just now joining, thank you for joining. We are going over some more of the dogs here. Jess Escoto says, Domas is my dog tonight. 0 turnovers. 0 turnovers would be incredibly impressive because he coughs it up a couple times, but not as many.
I mean, it'll be 2 or 3. I mean, he's got the ball in his hand all the time.
That we're fine with that.
Yeah.
You ever seen that meme when they're turning over, when it goes fresh turnovers and it's some dude in a bakery? Fresh turnovers, and then they'll put the person's face on it. Like Domas, your turnovers are ready.
That sounds,
fresh.
I don't know why, but my mind went to like the bowling spare graphics and stuff that are always like insane. I don't know why, but that's how I just pictured what you described.
Fresh turnovers. Would you like some?
Yeah,
and it's
just
just
like
a picture
on the
of
video
Domas.
screen, somebody like a poorly edited.
Yeah.
Nate, can you get on that?
I'm on it.
Cool.
Nate's
I'm already making
a
a Styles Files logo too.
Thank you.
Right,
yes.
right. On the way.
Styles Files, that's just kind of what it is, man. That's just what it is.
No, plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple, like a turnover.
Like a turnover.
One
Hopefully
turnover.
we don't have as many of those tonight. Let's switch gears here now to a situation that I think a lot of people were aware of, but if not, just to break it down for you, the Jacksonville Jaguars and Panthers had a game, and the Panthers, I guess, ended up losing, right?
Oof.
And
to our boy CJ
basically,
Beathard, too.
And to CJ Beathard.
Shout
right?
out the Shanahan guy.
Another Shanahan
Legend.
guy, looks just like Brock Purdy now that he's left the Shanahan system as well.
Trent Baalke.
And there is a crazy video of, honestly, I don't know if the fan was talking to Carolina Panthers chairman David Tepper, or if he just had a bit of a Tepper tantrum.
Hey,
all right, and he is on the
solid.
video. That's off the top of the dome,
Bro, that's why you're in the biz.
That's right.
Best.
And he throws a violent cup of water or whatever
I think
it
we
is.
can say chucked. He
Chucked.
it. Yeah.
To a fan. He has now been fined $300,000.
Should go straight to him.
So Darren
It
Ravel,
should.
Yeah.
So Darren Ravel did a calculation based on David Tepper's net worth. Okay. And he says this is from Darren Ravel. Here's the tweet. For those scoring at home, fining David Tepper $300,000, who has a net worth of $2.6 billion, is the equivalent of fining the average American $1.77.
Gotcha. Something about that is not right.
Not at all.
That's insane.
But we do this all the time with players, right? And even the players, they don't got money like this.
No, not like that.
So I don't know if the NFL said, this is not really our job. Because I'm telling you what, I hope that splashed me in the face because it burns my eyes. Okay, I'm allergic to water.
You're blind.
The cup,
allergic to water.
The cup hit me
You
as
shrunk.
well. My neck and my back, I slipped on the water trying to leave.
You have
because
gremlin disease? Did you get wet?
There you go.
Uh-huh.
Right. So I am not David Tepper. You will be hearing from my lawyer. So I don't know if the NFL, if we should be upset at the NFL for only fining him $300K,
right?
Or if it's just, hey, it's not the NFL's problem. They find him whatever allotted amount because he's going to get sued.
Yeah, he's definitely.
You got to get sued.
But like, what else could the NFL have done? Like, I mean, maybe they could have done his fine off of like a percentage. I don't know how you would.
But
like,
then that's
percentage
getting
of net
ridiculous.
worth?
That's
Like,
getting ridiculous.
I don't know
now.
how you would do that. Like, do you suspend him from attending games? Like, I don't really know what the NFL could have done, but I'll tell you what, this billionaire probably could have acted a little bit better. You know, I think there's also, it's strange. I mean, I don't know how much flack David Tepper should be getting because I don't know if anybody even knew he existed before last week, but like, I kind of feel like homeboy should, like, there should be a larger conversation.
Yeah,
about
maybe it's not monetary.
Be an owner.
Yeah, maybe it's not monetary. Maybe it's,
and he just bought the team, didn't he?
It's a bad look. It's a bad look. I don't know what possessed him.
Bro, you're a
Right.
billion. You make $2.6 billion. What is some dude who's sitting in the back row of the first section of the football stadium you're sitting in? Like, what did he say that really got under your skin like that? Like,
bro, he
on.
can't let the peasants talk to him like that.
That's right.
Look,
dude, the ants.
I'm lightweight saying, like, homeboy, you make way too much money to get frustrated at anything that dude could tell you.
He's got to go to his island.
Cry
after
to the
this.
bank, bro.
Yeah.
Like, cry to the freaking bank.
Yeah.
You don't have, like, I understand being upset, but, like, dog, you make way too much money to let some person like me, from your eyes, a peasant like myself, get under your skin. Like, just move on and again, wipe your tears with your $100 bill.
It's look, you get caught up in the heat of it, and maybe somebody you get roast, right? Ha ha. You took. Did Bryce Young even play that game? I can't. Could Bryce? Did he?
I think he did. Yeah, no, he played like trash.
I don't think he didn't finish. Or
I don't
something.
think he played.
He played like absolute garbage. No, he played. He played. He just played like garbage.
Yeah. So you have. I remember seeing a video or a picture of Bryce Young on the ground. So I thought maybe he didn't.
That's
finish.
normal. That's just called him taking a snap.
So you have
not a QB sneak though.
Yeah.
So you have somebody maybe getting under his skin or attempting to get under his skin. Ha ha, you guys took Bryce Young when you should have took CJ Stroud, just really roasting your entire existence. So maybe, okay, you have Bryce Young who had 112 yards and threw for 1 interception. And again, this is not Trevor Lawrence he's going up against. This is CJ Beathard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Raw.
And it is
athlete.
It's a mess.
He ran like a 70-yard touchdown at preseason once for the Niners.
And the problem is you're the Panther. You are there's a lot to roast because you also lost your pick.
Yes.
So you stink this year for essentially no reason.
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what he said.
You know?
He said, bro, not only does your team suck, but y'all ain't going to get better next year.
Right, you're going to suck again.
He probably said your over-under was 7.5 before the season started. What happened to that?
What happened?
What happened to that?
They are 2-14 for nothing.
Oh, my God. Yeah, literally for nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there was no incentive for them to lose this year. They obviously aren't getting their top pick. So
weak division.
Maybe the worst. I'm not even going to say maybe the worst division in football right now, and you still end up with 2 wins. It's insane.
And now a legal case.
And you bet, and you know what? You deserved every bit of flack that fan gave you.
You caught L's and caught a case. It's just a season of L's for the Panthers.
Am I mistaken, or did he sign a poster before the game that said, "I've been to every game this year, and I'm 2-10 or 2-12 or something"? 2-13. Yeah. I saw a video before the game. It was one of the higher ups with the Panthers. I thought it was the owner.
Probably.
I could.
Oh, here we go. I see it right here. It says this fan has a sign that says 2-13. I never missed a game. So David Tepper made sure to speak and thank him. He didn't sign the poster.
Okay.
He did walk up to the fan and
that was before
him.
that.
That was before the game.
It
could have been the same fan.
It was not. It was. I can confirm it definitely was not the same fan.
Yeah, it's not the same fan. Yeah, that's a mess. And shame on Tepper for thinking that just because you're in money and you're in a position of power, you can kind of do what you want. And I don't know, maybe because what's going to happen is it's not going to go to court or anything. We just saw that $300,000 is $1.77 to this man.
Yeah.
And thank you, Darren Ravel, because I'm saying, that's all it is. I need $1 million. So what's $1 million? Help with the math here. What's $1 million? $3? $3 to him?
Niners?
Niners insider?
$1 million?
Yeah, $1 million. What is it? That's $3.
Yeah, I'm not getting it.
No, I'm not getting it.
$1 million.
You have, I see, $1 million.
There you go.
Yes.
$1 million, that's about what? Maybe $3 to him?
Yeah,
you could cash me out $1 million.
It's about $3. Yeah. By that math, I mean, if you scale it out, it's at 300,000 is 130 ish. So yeah, that should be quick math, like $4.
I need that. Can you imagine?
No, I mean, and that's another thing of this is like, yeah, I mean, that's a whole separate conversation, but like that dude has literally too much money.
Maybe that's why he did it. He said, I'll give you $1 million and it still won't matter.
This is worth it.
I can afford to do this.
The equivalent of like one of us spilling a drink on someone at a bar and then buying them another drink financially.
Yes,
right?
pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah, like
it depends on the bar.
Maybe a
too.
little more than $3, but still like.
Yeah,
that's what you get
hour.
away with. You splash a drink on someone and then you buy them one. Like,
yes, a happy hour drink. That's essentially what David Tepper, if he gets hit for $1 million, would have going on.
Poor guy.
So, yeah.
Rough.
All right. Well, let's get out of here. We have the Drive Guys up next. Thank you for listening to Stiles and Watkins. It was a great show. Thanks to our guests. Thanks to the round table. Let's get ready for Kings Magic as the Drive Guys, Whitey Gleason and Kyle Draper, take you up to tip off, or to game night rather, and we will have the call for you, of course, here on the flagship Sactown Sports. Until tomorrow, secure the bag and please light the beam.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey,